Josh Heupel led a 63-point Red River massacre of stunned Texas. Coach Bill Snyder has built a Kansas State powerhouse. He turned a punching bag into a powerful bully. Today, Snyder's former assistant tries to storm the Wildcat fortress. The elimination games are about to begin. A sellout crowd in Manhattan, Kansas for a showdown of two unbeaten, both ranked in the top 10. Number 8, Oklahoma against number 3, Kansas State. When the day began, we had a magnificent 7 major unbeatens, 2 of them here. Right now, we are down to the Super 6. Ohio State upset a short time ago by Minnesota. Half of the unbeatens left are in the Big 12 Conference. Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. Gary Danielson, I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you along for what should be a dandy. Gary, this is not just your ordinary football game. Yes, both are unbeaten and ranked in the top 10. But consider this. Bob Stoops, now at Oklahoma, once was the defensive coordinator here. When he got the job at Norman, he stripped Snyder's staff, hired away 3 assistant coaches. This is going to be a good one. How about Josh Heupel, the Oklahoma quarterback?
Brett, I don't know if I've done a game where so much was riding on one guy, Josh Heupel. Since Bobby Stoops has come to Oklahoma, 17 games have been played. 12 times Josh Heupel has thrown the ball more than 40 times. He's going to have to do that today. I don't think they'll be able to run it unless Josh Heupel can throw the ball.
Gary, on the other side, Jonathan Beasley has accounted for 22 touchdowns.
He really does it more in the offense than Josh Heupel does. He's got to make it go. They have a little bit of running game, but Brent, it's going to be that Kansas State defense is going to be the determining factor in this game.
Gary, we mentioned the 2 head coaches. They shook hands. They have been saying the right thing all week long. But now, Snyder and Stoops, they want a piece of each other. With the fast card, so we have got a very capable replacement. Leslie Goodell is here to tell us more about the coaches. Leslie, nice to have you with us.
Thank you, Brent. It's great to be here. Well, much has been written this week about the so-called animosity between these 2 coaching staffs. The coaches themselves are quick to downplay the situation. They're focusing on today's game and how to throw off the opposition. Now, while there will be a few twists in the game plan, the schemes will stay the same. The communication won't. Bob Stoops changed at the beginning of the season his calls. Bill Snyder has more than one person on the sidelines calling the plays, and the quarterback's hand signals have been altered. What remains to be seen is how the players will react. Remember, many of them played for some of these coaches and were recruited by them as well.
All right, Leslie. Kansas State won the flip, and they elected to defer, so they want to get the football to start the second half. And it means that the Wildcats will kick it off. Antoine Savage and J.T. Thatcher back deep for the Sooners. Jamie Reed on the tee. And here comes Thatcher. Makes a cut to the left. Just short of the 20-yard line. And here comes Josh Heupel, the left-handed whiz who runs this all-out Sooner attack here today. Number 14 on the season. Young man's from Aberdeen, South Dakota. And he'll come out now and put this Stoops system in action against a very tough K-State defense. In fact, if I'm to make any point about the Wildcats as we get started, they are on tape the best tackling team that we have watched so far this year.
No doubt about that. Their athleticism is stunning, Brent.
From the shotgun, they'd drop it off, complete the first pass to the running back, and Quentin Griffin comes upfield immediately. Number 22, the young man from Texas who scored 6 times last week against the Longhorns. Now in our Chili's lineup, you can check all of these receivers. You'll see them all, folks. One after another. Very talented group. They come up now with a 1st and 10. A student of the game, studies the defense. It's a 4-man rush. Nobody coming. Again, he will drop it off on low, and Griffin again makes the 1st down, and this time he crosses midfield for 18 yards.
The spread offenses give a quarterback so much of an opportunity to defeat an athletic defense because you got these drop-offs. If they come at you, just dump it down. It can frustrate a defense. Heupel, 2 passes so far in this game. He's dumped it off both times. Kansas State must take away the gimme throws just like that one right there.
Now OU plays with half a football field. On the split backs, they'll run Luttrell for 4 yards, and we meet the matchup down in the pits. Here's the offensive line. Bubba Burcham, he is the ringleader for OU, matched against a very athletic defensive line with a couple of outstanding players for Kansas State. Mario Wadafehi from Honolulu and Chris Johnson from Chickasha, Oklahoma, number 36, one of the quickest we've seen. How's that for a combo, folks? Second down, and Heupel continues to operate right out of that all-out shotgun, fires the left-handed pass just short of the first down. Andre Woolfolk with his first reception of the game. The linebackers, Ben Lieber, been around, and he's matched against a quarterback from Aberdeen, so we've got 2 young men from South Dakota here. And folks, if you want to see a safety who can hit, keep an eye on number 40 at K-State, Jared Cooper out of Pearland, Texas. He's one of the best. Might not be the type of the game that Jared Cooper can make an impact because everybody's playing in space here. He's matched up on the tight end. Third down and 3. OU, though, has tried to add a running attack. Here comes the all-out blitz on third down. Heupel's in trouble, and he's sacked at the 40-yard line as defensive coordinator Phil Bennett goes all out for the first time. Brent, we've been doing these spread offenses all over the country this year. We both talked about the only way to stop them is like the NFL stops them. Put the quarterback on his back. And to do that, you got to rush more than they can pick up. And that's exactly what happened here. Kansas State and Phil Bennett says, I'm not going to let you pick us apart. We're coming after you. A 15-yard loss on the sack. Outstanding punter. Jeff Ferguson, averaging better than 45 yards a punt, matched against the number 1 punt returner in Aaron Lockett. They'll try to keep it out of Lockett's hands, and it does. It goes out of bounds, and now the referee will mark it at the 10-yard line. So Jonathan Beasley comes out after that 48-yard punt for his first series. Kansas State has scored every first series of the season so far. And you can see the 10 passing TDs and the 12 rushing. The senior, Beasley. He was behind Michael Bishop, redshirted Bishop's final season. Josh Scobie. Josh Scobie is the starting running back. We will see David Allen later in the game. But Scobie will be the starter. They're set in the eye. And a whistle before the snap. Tommy Ehlers, the referee of this Big 12 game.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
David Allen with the helmet on, ready to go at a moment's notice. Injured his ankle in the first game of the season. Did return last week for a few plays against Kansas.
We watched practice Thursday, Brad. He was very, very, very healthy. He looked great tonight.
Now, first and 15 from the goal line. Beasley, pump fake, coming down long, and he overthrows his wide receiver, Aaron Lockett. Now, when we take a look at our Chili's receivers for Kansas State, 2 of the best, folks. You watched Lockett and also number 5, Quincy Morgan. Both can, as they like to say, flat fly. And Martez Wesley, a good number 3 man, and Shadmeyer, a talented tight end.
Morgan went for over 1,000 last year. Lockett nearly 1,000 2 years ago. Both extremely dangerous. Both sub-4 440s.
Second and 15. Beasley will take it back right on the goal line. Cannot afford a bad snap. Beasley changing up at the line. Zone and tackled at the 5-yard line. Cannot get free of Corey Callens. And the offensive line is led by a young man, Randall Cummins, who came here as a walk-on from Cedar Hill, Texas, and is now one of the co-captains. Against perhaps an underrated Oklahoma defensive line, one you don't hear too much about. And Corey Callens has already made his presence felt in this game out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, number 92. Now 3rd down, 15 yards to go. We'll see what Snyder wants to do. Tough field position here. They'd like to get a few more yards before they punt it back to OU. They'd like to control the clock. Beasley looks underneath to lock it to the middle of the field, and he is short of the 15. K-State forced the punt as Roy Williams, a hard-hitting, strong safety, makes the stop.
I think that was mission accomplished for Kansas State. They wanted to get a little room. Their goal is play to their defense right now. Don't make any mistake early in this game. Little slip screen to the outside. Can't get to him that fast. Very good call from Bill Snyder that time.
So score one for Oklahoma as K-State does not score on its opening drive for the first time this season. Travis Brown punts it out. Thatcher runs up, and he is down in K-State territory at the 47-yard line. A 37-yard punt with a 4-yard return. No score in the Battle of the Unbeatens.
College Sunday on ABC.
Bob Stoops played at Iowa when Bill Snyder was an assistant coach under Hayden Fry. Before going to Oklahoma, Stoops was the defensive coordinator for Steve Spurrier at Florida. Josh Heupel, 3 of 3 for 33 yards before the sack by K-State. Brings the Sooners out, and again he's working with half a field. Excellent field position here for OU. Griffin directly behind the QB, and here's Luttrell on a counter step to the 46-yard line.
Let's take a look at the story of this game. The Dell Solutions when Oklahoma has the ball. Number one, defend the pocket. If they can defend Heupel, they might have a chance of keeping balance and running the ball. Kansas State take away the short pass, and that'll give you the opportunity to what? Storm the pocket. That's what Kansas State wants to do in this game. Storm the pocket.
Which they have done once so far.
And they're going to do it right now again. They're coming right here. That guy wouldn't be there if he wasn't blitzing.
And Heupel recognizing it, chains it up. Here they come. Fires, got it. Complete to Josh Norman. McGraw, the defender. A first down for OU at the 27-yard line. A gain of 20 yards.
All of the spread quarterbacks are getting so much better at reading the defenses, checking to a quick pass, and discouraging the blitz. You said Josh Heupel saw it, so he goes to a good man-to-man route to the outside. And one thing Josh does is put the ball on the spot.
And score a knockdown against Heupel. He was knocked down on the delivery. Remember, that can accumulate on a quarterback. And now Heupel, again, with all the crowd noise, makes the appropriate signals, comes out from under center, down to the middle, and he's got Norman again. Inside the 25-yard line, and the free safety, John McGraw, has been very active, Gary.
Brent, I've been here for 2 days, and it was windy. Josh Heupel doesn't have a big-time arm, but he caught a break today. It's negligible. And in the Big 12 country, especially here at Kansas State, it usually whips. The last 2 days, it was brutal throwing the ball. Today, it's perfect throwing the ball.
Stoops has some good thoughts about the wind in the Big 12. And here's Heupel on 2nd down and 6. The draw play, Griffin short. And when I said to Coach Stoops, you know, Coach Osborne said you couldn't open it up in this conference because of all the wind. Here's what Stoops had to say.
Well, in 17 games, it hasn't been a factor yet. So I feel pretty, I guess everyone's forgotten about global warming. So the temperatures and wind conditions aren't quite as bad maybe as they used to be. And you know, you watch Purdue up in the Big Ten. It's a lot colder up there. They don't seem to have a whole lot of problem throwing the ball.
And Bob Stoops, global warming. When's the last time we were at a football coach talking about global warming? Here's 3rd and 6 for the Sooners. Heupel, hit on the release, end zone, incomplete. Woolfolk in the end zone, and Dyshot Carter, the corner, number 35, all over him. And folks, Heupel took another knockdown on the delivery.
Part of the game when you're in these spread offenses, everyone knows it. When you're back there, you're going to get hit. They're going to rush one more than you got. And that time he got Warren Lott right under the chin.
Timmy Duncan to attempt a 39-yard field goal. That would match his long for the season. He's 500, 5 of 10, and the 39-yarder's right there. And the Sooner Nation strikes first in Manhattan, Kansas. Timeout. A field goal lead, even though K-State has been coming hard. A sack, forced the punt. A long pass as Lott delivers the blow. Incomplete in the end zone. OU settles for a field goal. And for the first time this year, Kansas State trails in a game. Duncan. Lockett. Left hash. Alley. Puts a move on. And brought down from behind at the 39-yard line by Derek Strait. College football on ABC Sports brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Goodyear, Sirius Technology, freedom from worry. Dell, providing the infrastructure to power your e-business, and Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. Kansas State behind Jonathan Beasley. Dashes back on the field. Much better field position this time, and perhaps we'll get a better view of Coach Schneider's offensive game plan as Shadmeyer stems over to the right-hand side of the offensive line. Using an H-back to try and open the hole for the running back, Josh Scobie. So the one thing that has plagued K-State a little bit, Gary, is a lack of a running game.
It really has. And when you look at this K-State offense and the Dell Solutions, that's why I'm saying they need to be patient. Touchdowns would be nice. Field goals would be good. But let's punt the ball if you're Kansas State. And that's why they need to unleash Beasley. They don't have a great running attack, Brent, so they got to get some help from the quarterback. Oklahoma's defense don't fall for that play-action pass. And I think Oklahoma needs some turnovers. 3 to win this game.
David Allen checks into the game for the first time. And they send him into the pass pattern as Beasley can't find an open receiver. So he scrambles to midfield. First down, K-State.
See, that's what really demoralizes a defense. If Beasley can do that, just pick up first downs. He doesn't have Michael Bishop-type big play ability. But if he can do that, that'll move his offense right there.
So Gary watched Allen in practice and said he was running full speed despite the injured ankle.
They have a nice matchup when they flank him. They get him matched up against the strong safety, Roy Williams.
Now for the first time today, K-State works with half a football field. They're right at the 50-yard line. Shotgun Allen off to the left. Lockett is the motion man. And there they'll hand it off on the inside, and Allen spurts. Close to a first down. Well, what a pleasure it is to welcome back John Saunders. John, you've been gone way too long, my friend. What happened in that upset by Minnesota today?
Brent, indeed, it's nice to get back into the backfield, but the game you're talking about, Minnesota, hadn't won at Columbus since 1949. Tell us, Redmond here, 20 yards on this touchdown run. Everyone in the Big Ten now has at least one conference loss because Ohio State goes down, so did Northwestern. Brent, back to you.
And I think, John, that Purdue is headed for Pasadena.
Well,
what do I know?
Don't forget the Gophers.
That's true. Second down and 1, but Purdue's already beaten them. There's that option look, and Beasley does it. Put it in now. And out of bounds is the running back, David Allen. Gary, I think that Allen is giving this offense a lift. And after the injured ankle, I would think that Schneider and his coaching staff would have circled this date as when they wanted Allen back full speed.
Very conservative. That's one of the real benefits of having a soft early schedule. You can point for games like this. You're conservative with David Allen. You say, David, be patient. I know you want to play, but we want you 100% for Oklahoma, and they got him 100%. I love the way they're using Beasley early in this game now.
Undefeated is undefeated. First down and 10 inside the 35-yard line. On the draw play, here comes Allen. Sprints to the left. He's carving up the Sooner defense. Bad tackling. He's down at the 21-yard line before Torrance Marshall brings him down at the 12-yard gain.
Just a simple isolation play this time, but you can see what David Allen, especially on this turf, can do. Find the open. Just coming out there, making a play. Two linebackers coming up, trying to stuff it. Good block right there. And David Allen just pops to the outside. What you have to be careful with, a guy coming back off injury, though, Brent, is make sure he doesn't get overextended. You can get very, very quickly out of gas and make a mistake like laying him on the ground.
I think Snyder knew that, and that's why he used him against Kansas. Don't you think? A little bit last week. Tried to get him back into game condition. He's running him again. Allen spinning to the 15-yard line, picking up 6 more yards. That's 4 for 35 for him. Allen makes the Sooner tackle.
The question mark going into this game was, could Kansas State run the ball right at Oklahoma? So far, the answer is yes. Beasley did it with a quarterback almost just a scramble and then an option, but now David Allen has given the offense new life, and now all of a sudden those two speedy receivers will start to get some good coverage. Bobby Stoops won't stand for this.
To put a number on what you said, Gary, 6 plays, all runs on this drive.
Nice matchup up here.
Second down and 4. Here's the quarterback draw. First down, touchdown. Jonathan Beasley, 15 yards for the touchdown. That's his 13th rushing touchdown this year, folks.
Man coverage outside. A little bit of a quarterback draw, and Beasley takes it to the house. And boy, I love when they use the quarterback here at Kansas State. And Beasley does it smartly. No mistakes in the game so far.
Ream on for the extra point. He's missed only 1 this year. Movement, whistles, flags.
4 for 2.
And fumble, picked back up. And let's turn it over to the referee. Folks, on that drive, 7 plays, 62 yards, all rushes for K-State.
All rushes. That does not happen very often.
Offside on the defense. The play was an incomplete pass.
And Allen was the wheel horse, 4 for 35, and so Ream will come back here on the half the distance, and he will try it all over again to make it a 7-3 score.
Remember, this is a very proud Oklahoma defense. They have 8 returning starters on this defense. No one runs the ball effectively against Oklahoma.
The extra point, and just like that, the Wildcats, behind Beasley's leadership, take a 7-3 lead. Mike Stoops, the brother of the head coach, cannot be happy. Come on over here and let's have a little conversation. And one thing Stoops, Mike, can do is drive a defense. Timeout. K-State leads it. Coach's graveyard. You could walk up on game day and get 2 on the 50-yard line. Now scalpers sell these tickets here at Kansas State. Behind Jonathan Beasley, they lead Oklahoma 7-3 in a battle of 2 unbeatens, both ranked in the top 10. So right now, Snyder with a little bit of the upper hand. Good-looking drive against his one-time Stoops. Good return by Thatcher. Thatcher breaks free. 40. Midfield in a foot race. Will he go over the angle? Get him. Touchdown, Oklahoma. 95 yards. Advantage, Stoops and Sooners.
How great must this be for J.T. Thatcher? Remember, this guy as a freshman started as a running back against Nebraska 2 years ago. He might be the poster boy for Bobby Stoops. Took over this program, moved him to defensive back, and he returns the confidence with a touchdown in this game. What a great play by J.T. Thatcher.
And a hometown youngster on top of it from Norman, Oklahoma. And now there's a little discussion there on the 2-yard line, and there was a signal for a touchdown, so he must have been overruled.
Let's see if
We definitely saw a signal for a touchdown. Let's see if he stepped out. If so, one of the other officials overruled coming down the side. Let's just take a look. Yep, that could be a very good call. See the touchdown signal, but see the head linesman coming in? You see the head linesman. He's got him out of bounds. The trailing man sees the foot go out of bounds. He overrules. Knee is down, but he'd already stepped out of bounds.
And this is not a
first and goal.
Not a gimme touchdown either.
Latrell Pounds got it. Touchdown. One play later, he broke the plane. The ball free after he broke the plane. So just a little delay in the celebration. And instead of a 95-yard touchdown return, let's give him 93 over here on the return. And Latrell gets credit for the score. But all hail J.T. Thatcher, especially in Oklahoma.
Quentin Griffin was the guy last week. This time it's Latrell poking it into the end zone. And, man, this scoreboard's getting ready. 2 high-scoring teams, and they're doing exactly that.
So with the kickoff return, down the field, the Sooners come, and in a matter of seconds, they regain the lead that they had lost on Kansas State's hard-earned touchdown.
The extra point stands.
Now that we're going back and forth, and Gary mentioned the scoreboard lighting up, we asked head coach Snyder if high scoring presented a problem to him in this game.
I think it'd be a high-scoring ball game because I'm not sure that, you know, with the ability that Josh Heupel has to put points on the board, I'm not so sure we could stay up with you know, if it was a high-scoring ball game. If we get in a shootout, we might be in some trouble.
So that must concern him. Remember, his scoring drive was ball control, work on the clock, bring it down the field. OU has struck like lightning here.
A little problem for Oklahoma now. They need a 3-and-out or at the most 1 first down. Their defense was out there a long time, and now they got to turn around almost like a turnover and get back out on the field. That's how you get gassed early in a game.
It's great, folks, seeing Oklahoma back. We've missed them. You know, there are certain schools you love to see play well. Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Oklahoma, the traditional powers. And here's one climbing down. Good kickoff, a little bit of a breeze at his back, and it'll come out on the 20-yard line here for Jonathan Beasley and the Wildcats. We've got an opportunity. Let's remind you about our schedule next week. Here in Big 12 land, we still have a choice, and that choice will be made at the conclusion of the game today. Perhaps many of you will be right back here to watch Texas Tech. They've lost only once. They play Nebraska. And other games for sure: Michigan State, Michigan, Virginia, Florida State, USC, Stanford. In case you did not catch it, Michigan State beaten late by Wisconsin. The Badgers come back in East Lansing. Now first down. And David Allen, who looked very good, is in the game with the option look. Fake pitch to him, and Beasley's going down for a loss of about a yard on that play. Corey Haneke, 89, the left defensive end, made the stop.
Heineke's right there on the option. Actually, this was a good move by Beasley, not pitching it. The numbers weren't right. Brandon Everidge was outside, number 7. Right there would have got a bigger loss, and I thought right at the end there that might have been a face mask.
You know that Coach Snyder can't wait for OU to jam that box so he can turn Quincy Morgan and Aaron Lockett loose on the outside.
So far they have it. Very soft in the secondary.
Shotgun look. Pressure's picked up. Dropped by Lockett. In and out of his hands, and folks, normally he just gobbles that one up.
Textbook of a receiver trying to run without the ball that time. He was so open, maybe 10 yards in open that time. And Lockett says, oh, I got a big play. And all of a sudden, he doesn't stay with it. Lockett's just going to come down, simple curl route right over the middle. There he is wide open now. I'm going, oh, and he never grabs it.
The weather is holy, but there appears to be a little moisture in
Closing
there.
in, doesn't it?
Yeah, look up there in the gray. Third down. 10. Beasley again has good time, can't find anybody. Now the shuttle incomplete, and it is 4th down. Kansas State forced to punt. Not a good series for Snyder and the Wildcats. Beasley is only 1 of 4 passing here today for 9 yards. And one thing, Gary, is pretty obvious. Oklahoma's getting some heat with just a regular rush.
Well, and Brent, the reason they are is the secondary is playing soft, and Beasley can't figure out who to throw the ball to. Usually Oklahoma and Bob Stoops and Mike Stoops likes to bring the house. Today they're playing zone.
Here's that man again, J.T. Thatcher. Fair catch is the signal. At the 41, a penalty flag, so the halo zone probably was violated on the 39-yard punt, and that'll bring a chorus of boos. And if I was sitting out there with the fans, I'd boo too.
I don't know why you even fair catch anymore. You might as well go with it. Remember the last time Josh Heupel was in the game, he got rocked. Those body punches early in the game will pay off for Kansas State later in the game.
6 hits, interference on the kicking team, 5 yards from the spot of the ball, 1st down.
So the penalty, and Snyder's concern mainly is with his offense right now because that's what he specializes in. But in the back of his mind, he knows that Oklahoma is moving the football on him. That OU, despite the fact that they've rushed for minus yardage, Josh Heupel is driving this team down the field, and he's not used to that. Ronaldo works, is now Heupel's running back. Change up in the look, under center. Play fake, move the pocket to the left, waits for someone, gonna come deep, underthrown, caught. And a penalty flag thrown on the play as Wolfolk made the catch. The back judge throwing the penalty flag.
Wolfolk did a nice job that time, actually changing his route twice, and then reading the pass and coming back to get it and fighting through the interference. 30 yards, something like that. Nice play by Josh and Wolfolk being on the same page. Little bootleg action coming out right here, a little cross of the backs. Josh kind of feels the pressure, but there is none. Look at him, he wants to go, there is none, and then he says, let's toss it up, put it in a spot where just Mike, the guy, can get it, and Wolfolk comes back, reacts to the ball, and comes back and gets it.
In this first quarter, the Kansas State defense has given up more big plays than they normally do in an entire football game. First down. Wolfolk, who took a lick, was shaken up on the play. Another straight drop by Heupel. Receivers covered, running room, and Josh Heupel, an efficient runner. Not a dangerous runner, but a smart runner. Saw room, and he dashed right away to the 13-yard line. When you talk to Heupel and when you watch him play, the one thing that jumps out at you is that this is a very intelligent quarterback. Understands the game, knows what the coaches are trying to do.
And I call it total command. Not just with the plays, but with his team. He was voted captain after he was only on campus for 4 months. Throws to the correct guy, and as you said, elusive enough just to make that defense honest.
Second down. And Oklahoma threatens again in the red zone. Griffin cuts for daylight. And first down, OU.
Jared Cooper wanted to come up and hit somebody. He almost got a 15-yard penalty because of it. Cooper, very physical, very gifted. But in this type of an offense, he's out on an island, which he is not really comfortable with.
Wolfolk returns for OU.
Great size by the OU receivers against smallish corners that are going to be playing bump and run on them all day.
Look how just short of the 10-yard line that ball is. So it's 1st and 10. Whistle before the handoff to Griffin, who is used immediately in this game as a safety valve receiver, catching a couple of passes for 30 yards. He's been held to 3 yards rushing, and he, of course, hit Texas with a 6 touchdowns.
Start on the offense, 5 yards, repeat the down.
Well, Monday night, the Jacksonville Jaguars playoff hopes hang in the balance. A big game for Jacksonville. Mark Brunell struggling. Steve McNair, almost completely healthy again. And remember, Tennessee has beaten Jacksonville 4 straight times, 9 Eastern time.
Kansas State in with their dime package, only one linebacker on the field.
They flood to the wide side. Heupel throws, Wolfo, incomplete in a duel with Carter, the corner. And what an outstanding duel, Gary, that's becoming, Carter and Wolfo.
Wolfo's got a little size on him, but Carter does this every day. He's been doing it for 3 years since he got on campus. When you come to Kansas State and you're a corner, you learn how to grab guys' arms and not get caught. Just enough. You got to do it just enough to not get caught, and he did a good job right there. Back out on the island again, matched up, all by himself.
2nd and 15. Blitz coming. Drops it off on the screen. And OU touchdown. Curtis Pagan. His first touchdown of the season. 15 yards from Josh Heupel.
This is why you have to put a man on a man in modern day football. All of a sudden, if you play off, they're going to throw the slick screen on you and walk into the end zone. Right in the slot. No one cover him. Heupel says, thank you very much. This is like as easy as it can get. It's like a long handoff for a touchdown.
And the extra point by Tim Duncan. Oklahoma 17, Kansas State 7. We're still in the first quarter. Heupel could be special. He was over there tapping his head. He had a telephone conversation with quarterback coach Chuck Long. And this young man is impressive when you watch him. He does not make the big mistake. And he has Oklahoma on a roll. He's 7 for 9, 103 yards, and a touchdown pass here.
And no matter what, how you measure a quarterback is putting the ball in the end zone, and that's 3 straight times Oklahoma has scored a field goal and 2 touchdowns.
It was a kickoff return that ignited the 2-touchdown rally. Now K-State needs a boost. Out of the end zone, Beasley will go to work at the 20-yard line. Let's check in on Oregon USC. Send you back to John Saunders. John.
Well, for Oregon, it's the first time they've played on natural turf this year. Here on the Burger King update, little flip under. Maurice Morris takes off, slides into the end zone, 8 yards in the run, ties the game at 7 apiece as they head to the second quarter.
And look who's here, John. Barry Switzer, the greatest coach in Oklahoma history. Bud Wilkinson would be right there with him, but Barry Switzer, I'm sure, would be voted #1. Great to see him back around the program. Another key move made by Coach Bob Stoops. First down and 10 now for Beasley. Here's the draw play look, and it's Allen to the 25-yard line. One thing Snyder will be as a play caller, he will be patient. He will stick with the plan, try to get one back at a time, even though the Wildcats are down 10. And field position has certainly favored OU there.
You know, you're watching this game, what stands out again is OU is not gambling on defense. That means they won't probably give up a lot of big plays, and the OU linebacker is very, very athletic.
Sure, you know, a big play in this game was when Lockett dropped that pass in that last series prior to that OU touchdown after the punt. And they stick right on the ground with the running game right now.
Rocky Chalmers there just made the tackle. Brent, it's just standing out right now that these linebackers for Oklahoma can move up and down the field.
So the end of the first quarter, Jonathan Beasley putting Kansas State up 7-3, but then Luttrell, and finally Fagan, and OU's up by 10 at the end of 1. Beasley changes it at the line. Six seconds on the game clock. Runs down the line on the option look.
Too much depth. That ain't going to work. That front four for Oklahoma handled the Texas offensive line, and right now they're pushing around that offensive line for Kansas State. That's a huge story.
And Brent Venables, one of the assistants who left K-State, who is over being very animated on the far sideline. So don't think for a moment that this does not matter for these assistants who work years under Snyder.
Remember, he was offered the defensive coordinator job if he would have stayed here at K-State.
And they ran into the punter. There's the penalty flag.
It's going to be a first down.
Absolutely.
Foolish play.
It was 4 yards to go for the first down.
Play.
He gets a first down for Kansas
Running
State.
into the kicker, 5-yard penalty on the receiving team.
Didn't even have the block on that time. Oh boy, Bobby. He's not going to be happy about that. Very undisciplined play by Woolfolk. Comes in for no reason, and that's obvious. He hit him just enough for a 5-yard penalty. He tried to pull off at the end, but you can't put yourself in that position.
Stoops, who learned under Steve Spurrier, and he's got all the Spurrier mannerisms except one. He has not thrown the visor yet.
Have 2 flags down, it looks like.
Running into the kicker on the receiving team, 5 yards.
There's an automatic first down. That's a huge break for Kansas State. They did not want to give the ball back to Heupel right now.
Snyder goes over with the offensive line and Beasley. Jonathan Beasley already has 1 degree, and he's working on a second. Glendale, Arizona.
Story so far, Oklahoma was able to play good defense by keeping their 2 safeties back. Kansas State must force those guys out.
Beasley must strike to the air soon. Morgan can't hold on. That would have been a tough catch. There is a penalty flag, however, thrown by the back judge.
Illegal substitution.
Illegal substitution on the defense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
2 unforced errors against Oklahoma.
So Jonathan Beasley, we told you about the degree that he has already picked up here at K-State. He was a 4-year high school honor student and wants to pick up a 2nd degree in management. And folks, when he's not studying, plays video games, not unusual. But how about that one right there, a crossword puzzle?
That's impressive.
First down and 5.
He's got a crossword puzzle to figure out today with this Oklahoma defense.
Play fake. Got a crossing receiver and couldn't get Lockett open in time. Now comes underneath to Lazatich, the fullback, and Lazatich pulls his way to the OU 36-yard line. A 27-yard gain. There was Beasley's experience, Gary. His main target covered up deep, and he came back underneath.
At his best. Everybody that was been critical to Jonathan Beasley says in situation when it wasn't there, he would make mistakes. This year, he's not making mistakes. He's coming up, dumps it off. Remember, coming into this game, he has not made the big mistake so far. 92 consecutive passes without an interception coming into the game.
He's now 2 for 5 here today for 36 yards. Had one drop, which should have been caught by Lockett. Pulling out a little too soon. Whistle just prior to the snap. Beasley was pulling back from the center prior to the snap. There seemed to be much question about that one, Gary.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, repeat the down.
Leslie, Jonathan Beasley's quite a young man.
Well, and he's also improved a lot this year, and he's a more well-rounded quarterback. He's got a better passing game this year. Last season, Beasley had an injured shoulder, had an altered throwing motion. The coaches saw it, made some changes in the technique, and he's just become a better all-around player. He's gone from a 44.3% completion percentage to 62.3 this season.
Exactly, with a first down and 15. Shotgun look, offensive line does great. That is a horrible pass right there. I mean, he overthrew Allen by 5 yards, I thought.
David Allen started to go out, then he kind of choked it down, and Jonathan Beasley said, I thought you were going to keep running. David Allen, number 32, comes out, gets hit, kind of slows down, and we had the best chance of catching that one, as Allen thought someone else was behind.
Second down and 15.
A little bit of a sloppy game so far by both teams.
Allen is flanked out. Beasley gets time. Can't release it. Now in a foot race. Shakes free, looks underneath. Cole, dangerous. Here's Allen through behind him. Coming back across the green that time. Derek Strait, the cover corner, as Kalmus started to close in on him.
Rocky Kalmus almost intercepted that ball just like he had off of Chris Sims last week. Coming from behind, no one to throw the ball to. Again, soft zone by Oklahoma. Beasley isn't comfortable, gets forced out of the pocket, and then watch this throw and cross. Kalmus does a nice job right there. Oh! Caught one last week, but this week couldn't come up with it. Kalmus touchdown last week against Texas, but couldn't grab this one.
Third down and 15 at the Oklahoma 42. Shotgun twist, blitz, and Beasley with a great slide step. But can he find anybody? High, dropped again. Oh, his receivers are killing him. Aaron Lockett, the young man from Tulsa, drops his second gimme of the game.
Blitz coming from the outside. Beasley should not have seen it, but he felt it. That's a lot of playing right there and experience. And then Lockett starting off, as I said, Brent, this game has started off sloppily. A lot of mistakes, a lot of unforced errors. You can feel the tension and a lot riding on this game.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. There are a lot of pressure on these fellas. Travis Brown. And it's going to be downed inside the 5-yard line. So tough field position for Josh Heupel and the Sooners after that 38-yard punt. 12:44 to go in the first half. OU leads it by 10.
Coordinator Mark Mangino, he also was with Kansas State. Mike Leach was Bob Stoops' first offensive coordinator. He went to Texas Tech. This guy takes over. Line coach Chuck Long helps with the passing game.
And the quarterback Heupel, 7 of 9 for 103 yards. With a very conservative approach. And, you know, Josh Heupel, we asked him, how about all the wide open offenses in college football these days? Why?
Well, you know, trends come through college football. And the trend right now is to open things up and let players be a part of it. But I think the main reason why those trends have started is that defenses are so much more athletic than they have been in the past. The speed of the game is great. And so, you know, you need to be able to spread things out and score points quickly.
Bright young man who follows the game carefully. Second down and 8. Someday wants to coach. That could be a long way off. Griffin is stuffed by the Wildcat defense. And now it is third down as we come to the bottom of the hour. Those of you with the clicker in hand, we're here, the sellout crowd of Manhattan. The sky grows a little grayer in the background with Leslie Goodell and Gary Danielson. I'm Brent Musburger. Perhaps the biggest play of the game. After K-State went ahead, it was J.T. Thatcher on the kickoff return. Found an alley, a 93-yard return. Luttrell banging across, and they've added another touchdown after that. It is 17-7, and now Heupel with a 3rd and 9, standing on his goal line, rolls to the left and incomplete. And Oklahoma forced the punt, and now Kansas State will get not only good field position, but the coaches have to be a little concerned about Aaron Lockett fielding a punt. Folks, he's had the dropsies here today in the first half.
He really has, and now you wonder, do they go to David Allen? Lockett has been so hot. He's in the game. You can see it, and you're right. 2 big drop passes so far.
You can make up for it here, Gary.
I thought that was really a little too conservative that time. They needed to get a first down. Kansas State going to get the ball on the 50-yard line if they don't make a big mistake.
Low. Lockett on the line. Comes to the right. 30. Dances out of bounds. Just short of the 20-yard line. A 24-yard return on a 39-yard punt. Leading punt returns here in the Big 12, averaging 22 yards a return.
Way to get healthy real quick. Return a punt, get the ball down to the 20-yard line. And like I said, man, I really question, I know you don't want to turn it over deep in your own zone, but you've got a quarterback that's very experienced. You need at least one first down coming out, or you give the other team the ball a great deal of time.
It is interesting that Oklahoma has tied up K-State's tight end, Shad Meyer. Bill Snyder is a coach who likes to get the tight end going. And OU using a linebacker to keep him sealed up and not let him out. And now they run Scobie to the 10.
Scobie's the hope. The junior college transfer. He's supposed to have the speed that Frank Murphy had a year ago. Haven't gotten anything this year. Injuries there with David Allen here this time. Right up, isolation play, one-on-one offense, and you can see Scobie accelerate through the hole.
Inches short of a first down. Just shy of the 10-yard line marker. Scobie cuts for the first down. We got a moment. We got interesting Aflac trivia question, because that'll unfold when we get to the answer. But who could be considered the mentor or godfather, if you will, of both these two coaching staffs? Both of them now, from Snyder and over the other side through the Stoops. We'll have the Aflac trivia answer a little bit later. Interesting story, folks. Gary came up with it a couple of weeks ago, and I think you're going to enjoy it. First down and goal now at the 7-yard line, and Coach Stoops a little bit concerned right now. A draw play, Scobie to the middle, twist to the 3-yard line. Roy Williams, the hard-hitting, strong safety, brings him down.
Beasley did a nice job with the quick count. He walked up. Oklahoma's getting ready to shift, and he just snaps the ball. Boom. Snaps it. Oklahoma doesn't really set in their defense and able to get the ball down inside the 3-yard line. Quick count, getting up there. Knows he's got an isolation play on and just snaps it real fast.
Rock Cartwright is the fullback. This is from the 2-yard line. There's the option. Beasley to the end zone. Beasley runs in for his second score today. He's rushed for 14 touchdowns this year.
Beasley's so much more mature this year than he was a year ago. Able to make mistakes, have receivers drop passes, and not put the ball in the other team's hands. Very, very impressive.
Jamie Reed.
Let's go.
Pulled it, but still got it. So Jonathan Beasley, wearing the number 91, honoring a fallen teammate, Anthony Bates, who died of a heart attack before the start of the season. Timeout. Already, one Wildcat wearing purple has fallen. Northwestern beaten today by Purdue, and here Kansas State coming back.
15,000 of these people were here at 10 o'clock in the morning for the ESPN show, and they stayed. Look at all this people. Amazing.
Ream. From the 1-yard line, it's Thatcher again. K-State says not this time. Down around the 20-yard line. College football on ABC Sports, brought to you by the makers of the all-new Dodge Caravan. Dodge, different. Nortel Networks, we're building the new high-performance internet. Chili's, I want my Chili's baby back ribs, only at Chili's. And Courtyard by Marriott, the hotel designed by business travelers. Well, there is the president's house here at Kansas State. Dr. John Weefald, an unbelievable sports fan and football fan, dropped by to say hello to Gary and me prior to the start of the game. He is so proud, not only of the football team, but the academic achievements of this university. First down and 10. Bluff the inside handoff and completes to the tight end. The first time that he has hit Trent Smith here today. So our quarterback comparison between Heupel and Beasley. One is throwing, Gary, the other is running.
Yeah, but remember, Beasley's had 2 drop balls on his side, so those are not bad stats for Beasley. Neither one have made a mistake in this game. Heupel, though, Brent, more and more of the pressure is coming on Josh. Oklahoma's only run the ball 9 attempts for 3 yards.
mentioned the academics, and Dr. Weefald handed us a little sheet here on the Rhodes Scholars, Truman Goldwater Scholarships. Kansas State with 83 leads the nation, and the next highest is 53. So it's not only linebackers and running backs and wide receivers that come out of K-State. Pretty good scholars.
Wait, number 2 in the country in football, too, right?
Absolutely.
That ain't bad.
On one poll.
2 and 3 ain't bad.
Pretty good, Gary. Third down now. There's that inside handoff. Mangino wanted the running game going, and there is the first down. If they added anything, Gary, to Leach's wide open offense, it was let's not get away from the running game.
A little bit more physical up front. That's what Mangino said we'd like to be. We love the passing attack. We're giving it a little bit more bootleg action from the quarterback. But when you're going against Kansas State, you know they're going to be physical all around. There's Beisel. There's that offensive line at Kaepernick getting that physical push.
Mangino looks like a physical coach.
But what the heck? No. It's warm out here. He's got a big jacket on.
Those heavy guys like the big jackets, like Bill Clark said. Used to wear them over there. Push down and clean. Here's Heupel. Sit still and take it deep. Incomplete. And a penalty flag is thrown. The coverage harder that time, and they throw the flag at it.
I'll bet he had his arm hooked, just like he had it earlier when he got away with it. But I wonder if he had the arm hooked against Mackey. If you hook that arm, they're going to call you. Sometimes it's Bill Bennett, offensive coordinator, right there to the outside. Gives him a shove. Ball goes in the air. Can't really tell there.
On the defense, 15 yards from the previous spot.
Yeah, defensive coordinator Bennett not happy about that because it moves Oklahoma across midfield to the K-State 48-yard line.
Understand, Brett, that is a technique that is taught. To slow the receiver down, you kind of hook onto him a little bit, kind of make him drag you, but you're not supposed to get caught. You're supposed to do it just a bit and then run up with it and catch him.
Ronaldo works, the lone running back behind Heupel. Now he'll back it out. Still 10 seconds to go. Heupel looked at the game clock. K-State bluffs the blitz, backs back out. Heupel steps up and completes it to Norman. Norman in a foot race. Gets to the corner. And Norman out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Josh Norman, and a penalty flag is down. A few words for Carter, and a 34-yard gain, but a flag down.
And probably got to be hitting. I wonder if it's Cooper again. He's so frustrated not to be able to come out here and hit some people. I wonder if he got a little late hit there. Oh, yeah, I think so. Heupel does a nice job of buying a little time up in the pocket, throws a bit off balance, but that's right there. Norman now catches. Used to be a running back. You can see why. Turns the corner, and then right at the end, oh, I don't know. That was weak. Okay. Oh, there it was. Right at the end, Cooper hit another guy. It wasn't the guy.
No question.
Yep.
Coach, and Gary, you understand where I'm coming from on this. Kansas State really misses Lamar Chapman, the safety in the middle, and no one knows that better than the Stoops brothers. Mike, of course, was here. He realized how much man Chapman could play as a safety. They're going to work on the free safety right now. First down, here's Griffin, and K-State meets him.
Right, you know what they're doing? They're trying to throw the ball all over the field, but you're right. They know they have a good matchup with Cooper over there. But, you know, as Heupel keeps making plays, you know what happens. He keeps moving up in that Heisman race.
Second down.
There's the guy right now. But Heupel's going to emerge. All he has to do is get some W's because his stats would be good enough. There's the so-called leaders right now.
Here's second down. Heupel fires, caught right at the 1-yard line. That is Curtis Fagan, who has scored already. So many receiving weapons. Norman, Fagan, Woolfolk, Savage, and we haven't even heard from Mackey yet.
You know what else, Fred? Usually when these wide open attacks, you have smallish guys. But Savage, 6'1", Fagan, 6 foot, Woolfolk, 6 foot, and Josh Norman, 6'2", 231. You use them all. You throw to them all.
They've used 5 different receivers already. Up under center is break the plane. OU back on the football as it was fumbled just as they were crossing the goal line is what it appeared to be. They're straightening things out down there, the officials. You can see how close to the goal line.
Did not cross the plane.
Absolutely not.
The fumble was recovered by Oklahoma. 4th down.
Huge call here for Bob Stoops right now.
Oh, they'll go. Up by 3. They'll go.
Good look at it right here. He did not cross the plane. The ball came out loose, laying right there, and Oklahoma going to go for it.
Fourth down, and here they come. Touchdown, Heupel. Josh Heupel, like his counterpart, Jonathan Beasley, scores running.
Yeah, but it was his arm that got him down there, right, Brad?
Absolutely.
He's brilliant, feeling what that defense is trying to do to him.
Timmy Duncan nails it. It's an offense that doesn't let you breathe.
Absolutely not.
You score, and the Sooners are coming right back. 79 yards in 8 plays. They lead it 24-14.
Promotional consideration provided by National Garum, the official car.
Does the Downtown Athletic Club call collect? When do they let me know?
Absolutely. Chuck's up in the booth. There he is with the glasses, and just to Chuck's right, our left right there, that's Steve Spurrier Jr. that's on the phones right now, the receiver coach. So a lot of names on this staff.
Timmy Duncan. Morgan going to come back to the middle and down. Well, we told you that Northwestern lost today, and John Saunders, a very special moment. How about the update, my friend?
Well, Brent, I know it's a tough day in that booth for you. You went to Northwestern, and Gary has his son, Matt, there, but it wasn't all bad. Here it is. Matt Danielson moves to his right, tosses this one, a perfect strike to Luis Ianni, takes it in 35 yards for the touchdown pass. Not enough for the victory for Northwestern, but hey, a proud papa in Gary Danielson. Back to you.
Way to go, Matt. Folks, you haven't seen anything until you have seen blood against an alma mater.
Exactly.
I'm here to tell you blood is thicker than an alma mater. First down now for Jonathan Beasley. Pulls it back. Great time. Goes deep. Meyer intercepted by OU. Picked off by Roy Williams. And Williams delivers a hammer blow on the far sideline.
Beasley came in with 92 consecutive passes, went to 100, and then all of a sudden got just a bit greedy. Should have maybe put some air on this ball. Had man-to-man coverage. If he threw it deep, he'd have been all right, but he line drived it, and Williams cuts underneath and makes it. He had plenty of field behind, and Williams, known as a hitter, comes up with the big interception. Huge play. 5 minutes to go in a half right here. Beasley rips it. He's got a big arm, but didn't throw it far enough to the tight end that time, Mike.
And you know, Gary, the 24 points already are the most scored against Kansas State this year. And now Josh Heupel attempting to drive them again. And he is sacked.
Only way to
40-yard line.
The only way to stop him.
Now, we mentioned the Aflac trivia quiz, and who can be considered the mentor or godfather of these two coaching staffs. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Mr. Hayden Fry from Iowa. Snyder was his offensive coordinator And, well, Gary, let's take a look at the old Fox himself.
The old Fox. Of course, everybody knows him in Big 12 area back when his days down in North Texas, right? Built that program.
Oh, at SMU.
SMU also.
Sure. And the old Southwest guy. Yep. Lots of these folks remember him from that. And Antoine Savage making the catch there, number 6. In fact, it was Hayden Fry who integrated the old
First time
Southwest
at
Conference.
SMU with Jerry Levias.
Right, fine wide receiver.
I just pulled that out, too.
That was good.
We didn't hear. Of course, Bobby Stoops, we mentioned it. Bill Snyder, both on the staff of Hayden Fry when he turned around that Iowa program. And both of these guys have turned around this program.
And the Stoops brothers out of Youngstown, Ohio, played for Hayden.
That's right. It's a huge stop by the defense for Kansas State.
This is 3rd and 14. Straight back angle, got him. A catchable ball for a first down into the hands of Andre Woolfolk. What else can we say about Josh Heupel? That is 17 more yards. He is 12 of 15 for 168 yards.
Woolfolk, number 17, started out the year in spring ball. They thought they might move him to cornerback. Just too valuable as a wide receiver. And you know, Brent, Heupel just puts it in the spot where his guy can catch it. And it's like a point guard. Just throw it to where your guy can catch it even if he's covered. Stop. You got to put him on his back to stop him.
And with that little running play, that touchdown, Oklahoma! Quentin Griffin, 7 touchdowns in 2 weeks. That one 17 yards out.
There's not a lot of Oklahoma fans here, but they're making noise right now. 30 points on this defense, maybe 31. Brent, remember last night how upset Bob Stoops was that his team didn't get credit enough for that Texas win? He said it wasn't just Texas laying an egg. We forced that egg out of them.
Duncan nails another extra point. The crowd right now, you would describe it as a stunned, subdued Kansas State crowd. They can't believe anybody coming in here in less than 1/2 and putting a 31 spot up there on the scoreboard.
An offensive line roots it out this time, blocking down Skinner. Merchant does a good job, and then Quentin Griffin, coming right down. Faisal fills the hole from Howard Duncan, but the little guy, Griffin, sneaks it into the end. He's tough. Spread out the field, get a good block like that, and now you got to stop the little water bug.
We mentioned last week, Texans may want to turn away from their set or use the clicker for about 15 seconds. This was Nightmare City. The Longhorns couldn't keep him out of the end zone. Not once, twice, or 3 times, folks. It was 6 rushing touchdowns for number 22. They put a 63 spot on the Horns down in Big D. And now, the most points allowed in Manhattan, Kansas since, well, Oklahoma scored 35 back in 1996. So they got 31 in less than a half. 3 minutes to work with.
You mentioned Bill Snyder didn't want a shootout. Well, it's too bad you got one, Bill Snyder, and now you have to react to it. You have to tell Beasley, and you have to alter your play calling already. Now, I would admit, though, 31-14 is one score that looks a bit bigger than it actually is. It's still only 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Remember last week, Brent, we were in Lafayette when it was 28-10, 18 points at halftime, and Purdue and Drew Brees came back. Kansas State has to just take their time.
Beasley not throwing well. That's the biggest problem that K-State has got. 2 of 9. They blitz him. And Lockett finally holds on. And in fairness to Beasley, he should be about 5 of 10 right now because Lockett dropped 2 right in the old breadbasket.
Yep,
and that time he hangs on.
Let's give you a little tennis stat here. Unforced errors. This is something that the opponents who are good enough, Oklahoma's good enough, and you can see Kansas State is helping them. 5 penalties, 1 turnover, and that was a bad one, and then 2 drop balls. I think that first drop pass by Lockett might have turned this game a bit.
Oh, that and the kickoff return by Thatcher after K-State went ahead 7-3. Beasley straight back, checks off White, gonna keep it, and he slides to the 45-yard line. And a reminder that in a season filled with great Major League Soccer, ABC will bring you the biggest one of them all, and that's tomorrow. Viola and the Kansas City Wizards will battle the Chicago Fire MLS Cup 2000 tomorrow. Live at 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 a.m. Pacific, only on ABC. Third down and 1, and K-State powers ahead.
Oh, he went through.
Came out. The other end, Beasley. But was it whistled down? Tackled at the 10-yard line. Everybody else is standing back around the 45-yard line. Let the play whistled. And it says, come on back here.
He better at least get a first down out of it. That's a little embarrassing one right there. The fans are reacting already because of the scoreboard, the replay on the scoreboard of whether he was actually stopped. Beasley goes in. Was he stopped? Boy, I guess if the whistle blows, right?
All you can say about it. And now Bill Snyder's got a winded quarterback.
They've also got their wind at their back, and they need at least 3 points.
But he did get the first down.
Yep.
So 1:37 to work with.
Giving him the short
They
pass.
put Cripps over on the left-hand
There's the
side.
short pass.
Here's Morgan spins. And Morgan is tossed out at the 41-yard line. So that 14-yard gain gives him another first down.
Oklahoma does not believe Beasley will be patient enough and throw the ball short. The short passing game is a gimme pass. Bill Snyder, the Kansas State offense, needs to take advantage of it. Morgan, no pressure to the outside. Throw it out there. Easy completion, and look what happens. You miss a tackle, you get a first down.
That is the first completion of the game for Morgan. Lockett, 1 completion. Lonsick, 1 completion. So OU, with Mike Stoops, the defensive coordinator, clamping down on the big play guys and harassing Jonathan Beasley, with OU taking and Oklahoma. And there you see Mike wearing the white hat. He and Venables, the co-defensive coordinator. Normally when I see co-defensive coordinators, one's upstairs and one, I don't see them kind of like animated with each other. And here it is.
They're upset with each other right there. They're giving each other an earful.
Yeah. That's the Stoops. I'm telling you. These guys from Youngstown, they'll get right after you.
And Venables not going to back down. He came to Kansas State and played, and when Venables came to Oklahoma, Bobby Stoops said he was the strongest guy on the whole team. That's changed.
Good coaches. Got fire in their bellies. They're enjoying everything down in Norman, Oklahoma. And speaking of that, our courtyard by Marriott moment. Back in 1993, number 13 Oklahoma came into Manhattan to battle the Wildcats, who are ranked 25. K-State beat the Sooners for the first time since '70. Remember this quarterback, folks? Chad May. This is Kevin Lockett. He's the brother of Aaron, and now playing with the Kansas City Chiefs. And Carl Peterson, their outstanding president, is here watching the game today as K-State won it 21-7.
And what a huge turnaround game that was for these two programs. Since then, Oklahoma is 38, 39-1. Kansas State 70-12 since that game.
127 to work with.
Giving him the short pass to the outside again.
K-State wants something to build on. 3-man rush, and here's the screen. Penalty flag is thrown on it. Lockett, the receiver, the flag is thrown. So a quiet crowd in Manhattan as Oklahoma puts a 31 spot on K-State here in the first half. And in the second quarter, remember that graphic we showed you about how talented the Sooners were in the second quarter? They gave Beasley his second, and then Josh Heupel and the rest of the Sooners took over.
Great run by
Griffin breaking free and spinning to the end zone. 1:20 to go.
See if Kansas State can move up the deep safeties for Oklahoma. They continue to play very soft back here. That means you're going to have to drive a receiver through the middle of them to get some coverage in this Open up your wide receivers because they are doubling the wide guys. They are just doubling the wide guys.
So on the penalty holding, brought way back. First down and 20. Beasley rolls right high, incomplete.
Do not need to get all 20 yards on first down right there. Little short dump off patch for 8 or 10 yards might have done it. Quarterback comparison. I don't know how much longer we can keep selling those 2 drop balls. Do you think?
No, because that one interception was not dropped by Roy Williams of Oklahoma.
We tried for a while.
It led to a score, and now, Jonathan, you're on your own.
He's a great. I mean,
he is a nice shot.
He's going to have to come through to win this game. He's the guy. There's no one else.
Sooners show blitz, and here they come. They want to set that screen again. And this is Allen dancing off a cut to the 45-yard line, well short of the first down. Corey Callens, the defender. And coming up next, of course, Valvoline halftime 2000. John Saunders back in the saddle in New York, along with Terry Bowden. Timeout has been called here on the field. You know, we talked about Hayden Fry being the godfather. Let's take you back to 1983. What an outstanding Iowa Hawkeye team. And Bobby Stoops was just beginning his coaching career here. Gary, take us through this.
A lot of good coaches on this staff. Hayden's in the middle. We'll get to him, but it starts out on that top row. Bill Snyder, offensive coordinator. There's Kirk Ferenz coming up right here, the current Iowa coach.
And now, folks, the man in the middle, you'll see why I call him the godfather.
Built that program from the ground up, but he had some help. Dan McCarney doing a great job at Iowa State. There's Barry Alvarez at Wisconsin, a big win. And then there's Bobby Stoops on the other side. And, boy, also got some other guys, players. There's Chuck Long. There's Mike Stoops, the defensive coordinator, and the tight end, Jonathan Hayes. But you know what struck me with that picture, Brent? Where the 2 coaches were in that picture. There's Mike Stoops. But in that picture, the 2 guys, the 2 head coaches, were on opposite sides of that picture, as far away as they could get. I ain't saying anything. I know they got together. I know he brought them. But you can't get any farther than that.
So here is Mike. He was the defensive coordinator in that painful loss, and I do mean painful, suffered by Kansas State against Texas A&M in a Big 12 title game in overtime. K-State with a lead, fumbled it away and a chance to play for a national championship. And then, of course, they were beaten by Purdue in a bowl game, and things were not quite the same. Beasley backfires high, and they can't make the catch at the sideline. It's Aaron Lockett again.
Yep. Nick Lockett could have helped his quarterback, who needs some help right now. Right now, someone has to make a play for Kansas State besides Jonathan Beasley, and the big play receivers aren't making the big play. They have to punt the ball.
Travis Brown on the field for the Wildcats. J.T. Thatcher back deep. And it'll come out of the 20-yard line. 37 seconds left in the first half, with OU leading Kansas State 31-14. And in case you haven't heard, Ohio State upset in Columbus today by Minnesota. So we have only 6 unbeaten teams left in the nation, and 2 of them are playing right here. 3 of them in the Big 12. Nebraska to go out later. And in 2 weeks, Oklahoma plays Nebraska. Now, folks, think about the Associated Press poll. Here they are playing the number 2 ranked Kansas State Wildcats. Then in 2 weeks, they would draw the number 1 ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers if Nebraska wins. That does not happen very often. Only twice before in history.
I think, what do you think? If Oklahoma runs it, if they go Texas, Kansas State, Nebraska, do they have a legitimate claim to be the best number 1 team in the country?
If they beat Nebraska, absolutely.
Yep, I think so too. I mean, I don't know if you know, those are 3 huge names. To beat 2 of them like that, that's a huge accomplishment. Halfway there.
Snyder and the Wildcats with their hands full against the Snoop mob here in Manhattan. Let's go down to Leslie Goodell.
Coach, mistakes, some penalties, or frustrations about the first half?
Well, we're just not playing very well in any aspect of the game. We've given them obviously too much on offense. Our offense has been hot and cold. We've been inconsistent in terms of our production. The kicking game obviously failed us on allowing a great kickoff return that they had. So you put all three of those things together, we're just not playing very well today.
What adjustments can you make?
Well, I think, number one, we have to make sure that we're being assignment sound and we're doing the things that we're supposed to be doing. And we're going to have to get some emotion into this ball game right now and come back and play with the mission.
Thank you, Coach.
So there it is. Oklahoma unbeaten and rolling into Kansas. They lead K-State 31-14. What do you think K-State has to do now to climb back in this game?
I think, first of all, Brent, what they have to do is score first. It might not be the first drive, but they can't let Oklahoma get one more touchdown, or they'll get so far behind they can't catch up. But I think next they have to take what Oklahoma is giving them. They're giving them the short pass. They're giving them the middle of the field. They have to start being more efficient throwing the ball. The running game has not been there.
All right, here we go. They'll handle the ball to start the second half. Young Lockett struggled as a receiver. Tim Duncan back in the end zone, and we're going to take a knee. Second thought was a wiser one. Leslie Goodell caught up with Bob Stoops coming out of the Oklahoma locker room, and here's that conversation.
How do you do that?
Well, we just got to keep playing like we've been playing. Take away no turnovers. Take care of the football like we've been doing. Keep making plays on defense. Got to still take away their quarterback.
Thanks, Coach.
Take away their quarterback, which they did pretty well. Forced him into one very critical interception.
And they did it by being very conservative. That front five Kansas State offensive line is not winning the battles up front.
Penalty flag on the first play. And a second flag. Allen to the 22-yard line on first down. We've had 9 penalties, 6 of them against K-State in this game. So they have been the sloppier of the two teams. And this time it goes against OU, their 4th. Let's take a look at the Morgan Stanley Dean Witter first half stats, Gary.
We've highlighted Kansas State's passing attack, 65 yards with the defense set up to give you the short completion. So far, the execution by Kansas State has not been good enough. Of course, the one turnover was a huge play in the football game, but the plays are there. They just need to execute better if you're Kansas State. Bobby Stoops and Mike Stoops have to love this game unfolding. They're keeping their safeties back, playing conservative, and making plays.
First and 5, Meyer a stand up, and again, there was movement in that neutral zone, and Beasley jumped it.
Easy first down, 2 straight plays. Very deceiving score as a player, Brent. 31-14 looks huge, but it's just 2 touchdowns and a field goal. This is still not over yet.
Offside, defense, 5 yards from the previous spot, first down.
Snyder's offense struggled in the first half. You can see that they punted 3 times, and I should say 4, and threw that costly INT.
And it was on first down, too. That's what really hurt. The first play, they're giving you the short pass, and Jonathan tried to get a little greedy. Just a bit. The only big mistake he's made. He needs some help from these 2 guys out here. Those 2 receivers to the top of the screen.
K-State 30 with the first down. Motion Lockett. Here's Allen. Couple of yards. Kalmus is in there on that pile, number 20. He intercepted a pass last week against Texas and dashed into the end zone for a Sooner touchdown. Marshall also a fine linebacker, number 10, big fella.
Kansas State going no huddle right here. Look at those linebackers. That's Marshall, number 10, stuffing that play. Kalmus, number 20, right there.
Short drop, a little bit low and incomplete. Short hop.
That's called pulling the string. You got a guy wide open, and you aim the ball. It's just like in golf, Brent. I've seen you. Haven't you? You got that wide open fairway right there, and you just decel. It's a deceleration right there. Jonathan just has to let it rip. Kind of slowed his arm swing down, and the ball just dives in the ground and call it in.
Third down conversions, K-State only 1 of 6.
2 deep safeties. You got to get this tight end right here down the middle. Control those safeties.
Meyer, and they throw back into the middle that time. Jones, number 11, the OU defender on David Allen. And the punt team trots onto the field. Not a good-looking series there.
Especially when Oklahoma wanted to give you a first down with 2 offsides penalties, and then all of a sudden you come back and can't make an easy pitch and catch to the outside.
When you're trailing like this, the one thing that you want is a very positive start to the second half. High, fair catch, Thatcher, at the 20-yard line. Well, there were several huge moments in the first half of this game, and this the biggest one of them all. J.T. Thatcher, after K-State had taken its only lead, set up a touchdown with a 93-yard return. Heupel went to the forward pass, started spreading it out, scored himself, and then the big interception by Roy Williams on Jonathan Beasley. OU came down and scored again.
It was storm the pocket. That's what I thought Kansas State had to do. That's what they do have to do. 12 for 15 by Heupel in the first half. They can't let him throw. He's too good.
Griffin on the inside handoff and defended well by Chris Johnson.
Only 3 incompletions by Josh in the first half, and he spread it all over the field, throwing the ball very effectively in the 15 short yard area right here. Look at this for a left-hander, though, Brent. Throwing the ball to the right side of the field, 4 for 4 right there, and 4 for 4 in the middle.
6 different receivers used by Josh Heupel and Oklahoma. They lead at 31-14. Second and 10 for OU. Blitz coming. Watt is picked up. Fires complete, and then it's juggled out of bounds, incomplete. And the official said he was juggling the ball, and they'll rule it incomplete. Curtis Fagan could not hold on here with the crowd in excess of 50,000 with Gary Danielson and Lester Goodell. I'm Brent Musburger. 2 of the 6 unbeatens left. And Oklahoma leads K-State 31-14. Earlier today, Ohio State upset by Minnesota. We'll be down to the Fab 5 when this one ends.
How about Minnesota? They did it to Penn State last year at Happy Valley, and then they do it to Columbus this year to Ohio State.
Glenn Mason's alma mater, maybe he'll wind up in Pasadena. Heupel on the blitz, and he just drops it off inside to Griffin in a foot race for the first down.
What a call by Mangino. He knew Phil Bennett, Kansas State, was going to bring the house. There's Mark Mangino. He says, hey, let's give that little, it's almost like a draw play. It's very delayed. Come back and fight them in. Just go right where they're coming. Just a lazy little toss play. That is a great deterrent to the all-out blitz for Kansas State.
On first down, Heupel hums one. Picked up 5 more yards. Trent Smith, the tight end.
See, Smith is matched up with Cooper the entire time. Smith, the tight end, will always go right. Cooper, the strong safety, will always cover him. But Cooper doesn't feel confident to bump him. So you have that short throw. You remember, you mentioned it earlier, Chapman used to do that last year from that free safety spot. Now, there's Cooper off right to the top of the screen. Off his guy each time.
Blitz. And he drops it off again. Battling for a first down is Quentin Griffin. And Josh Heupel has something else. He's also courageous. He knew he was going to take a lick, and he delivers the ball to Griffin. Watch this.
I think you have to learn to be courageous when you run this spread offense. This is a guy that went to Weber State. then transferred, went to Snow Junior College, then comes to Oklahoma in spring football. And Brent, 3 months later, after just one spring practice, is named captain of Oklahoma as a junior. Great leadership.
Spends hour after hour in the videotape room studying. Going to bring the end around, and it breaks wide open for Fagan. Penalty flag is thrown. He's out of bounds at the 31-yard line, but a penalty flag as he clocked the corner.
Right, a foolish hold, maybe 15 yards behind the play that time, is going to cost a great call from Mangino that time. Feeling the pressure, he kind of goes against the grain and calls the reverse. Clock below the waist, very foolish. That thing would really came through. Reverse that time, coming around. Actually, that was a real funny call because that was the running back that time, Luttrell, that made that block, and he was not lined up that time. Here's Luttrell, 35. That's who the call is on. He never came from outside in. That's a mistake and a bad call. See, that wasn't a wide receiver to the outside of the formation. He started inside the formation.
Block below the waist.
Yeah, I thought he got
on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the fall.
They'll call that to protect the players.
Yep.
Yeah, he's saying, get it up. You know better than that. Absolutely, the 12.
Yeah, I've heard a big play, too.
Yeah, it cost him about a 29-yard gain on the end around, so Heupel and the Sooners will go back. First down and 23.
It was a 15-yard penalty, not administered as a 10. 15 yards from the spot of the foul.
So they get the bookkeeping straightened out. Josh Heupel out of Aberdeen, South Dakota. Stoops gets an explanation from the side judge.
Very interesting so far, Brent. To get pressure on Heupel, they forced him to bring the all-out blitz. They can't get there with just the front four.
First cross. Heupel going to throw back incomplete. Leslie, how about the young man from Aberdeen?
Brett, you said earlier he'd like to coach when he's done with football. Well, he comes from a coaching family. His father, Ken, is the head football coach at Northern State in his hometown of Aberdeen, South Dakota, which you would think would make it difficult for his son to play. Well, Dad got special permission to be absent from 3 of his games this season. He's been to 2 of Josh's games already. He'll be at Oklahoma's game against Texas A&M. And by the way, in those 2 games Ken's missed, Northern State blew one team out and beat the other one in overtime. So all is good while Coach has been away.
Second and 28. Here's Griffin in a foot race, and he's tracked by Warren Lott.
Kansas State with the penalty, forcing a punt, is going to get another opportunity to get back in this game. We both said if Oklahoma scores first and make it 38-14, the lights may go out. A stop here is mandatory by this defense now, especially with 3rd and more than 25 yards per game. No penalties for Kansas State right now.
Third and 26, and Heupel tightens up his coverage and now wants a timeout. Just a little bit different blitz wrinkle that time. And Heupel decided to use a timeout here rather than risk a long loss or maybe even a turnover. We'll be right back. Heupel has been under pressure today, but despite this, he has completed 16 of the 21 passes he has thrown, and he's picked himself up 8 times. So K-State has been bringing the heat, but Josh Heupel has been able to get rid of it and find an open man. Hasn't turned it over. Here he comes again. Dances right. And he's got another reception on the sideline. And breaking free is Savage. Down the sideline. Touchdown, Oklahoma. 74 yards on a little dump off from Josh Heupel.
Oklahoma was conceding, dropping it off. Savage takes it. Horrible tackling by the secondary, and Savage may have just put this one out of reach.
Here's Timmy Duncan.
It'll look like a 75-yard touchdown pass in the stats. It'll look like a bomb, won't it?
And the neon flickers again. 38-14. Kansas State had won 25 straight at home. Folks, that streak is in deep trouble. Timeout. 6, Gary.
And right now, Josh Heupel concedes. He says, you got good coverage. We don't have to play. That will attack this defense. Drops it off. Now, punter, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Kansas State players. Only one of them have to make a tackle. They all fan. And they might have just fanned their chances of getting into the Miami National Championship game.
Heupel's 74-yard scoring play is his career long at Oklahoma. This one's coming out on the 20. College football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, get in, be moved. Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter, move your money, get well connected. National Car Rentals, so what are you waiting for? Let's go. And Pacific Life, annuities, insurance, investments, use the power of Pacific Life.
I love those 2-yard throws, 75-yard touchdowns. They look good in the paper the next day. And a lot of the voters will look at it as a 75-yard touchdown.
Can I take back one stupid thing that I said at the start?
I get two back.
What a great tackling continue. You're kidding me. That was embarrassing. First down and 10. They haven't been able to tackle on defense, and they haven't been able to catch the ball on offense. So they'll toss Allen. And Allen with a good gain and a first down. Speaking of not catching the ball, especially Lockett here.
You know, Brent, I'm not a big believer in momentum because I think momentum in an athletic event can change on any play. But Aaron Lockett did his best to disprove my theory because early in this game, when Kansas State was still establishing their dominance in the game, he did not come up with one play to help a quarterback that needed some help in this game.
Absolutely. So here's the first down after the Allen run. Option look. Beasley with a late pitch and no chance to do anything there. Kalmus rides the running back out of bounds. Well, look who's coming to the season premiere of Spin City Wednesday on ABC. He's America's coolest bad boy, Charlie Sheen. You'll see him on the season premiere Wednesday night. Spin City here on ABC.
Locklear and Sheehan, huh? I don't think I'll be allowed to watch that one either.
Tell me how it is. Second down at 9.
Unbelievable how fast the secondary is closing on those running plays. Those safeties may be lined up deep, but they are coming up and hitting each time.
Gary, did you think when we came in here that this Oklahoma team would be this good?
No, but you know what I think has been the difference is that Oklahoma front seven, they've not been able to handle Kansas State. Marshall and Kalmus, the two linebackers, are wrecking havoc. These two guys right here, nobody can block them. They're all over the field.
Beasley and the Wildcats need 5 yards. Wesley has to come in to check with the quarterback. And he's going to keep it and try to run for it. He didn't get it. No first down. It'll be 4th and short. Bill Snyder might as well go. I mean, down 38-14, you might as well gamble right now.
Especially the way Heupel's throwing the ball right now. He's going to pick up first downs and touchdowns no matter what. Here's the two guys, 10 and 20. Two guys coming inside, stuffing. Takes 3 guys to block. Now watch the safeties. Boom. They're coming up. That time was Everidge, number 7, that comes up from the safety of freshman.
Snyder bought some time asking for a measurement. Wesley staying on the field after talking with the coach. Now Beasley's over there. And that's how much they need for a first down. And it's clear now that Snyder's either going to go for it or try to draw him offside. But really, that doesn't do much for you. I mean, you're down 38-14. You got to go at every opportunity.
I think you do. You just put your head down, You challenge your team not to look at the scoreboard. Let's just try to make first downs first, and then we'll worry about the score later. It's not a fun spot to be in. I've been there. You have a tendency to try to score points too quickly, and you end up dropping passes and making mistakes.
Again, carved out against a schedule of cupcakes. 4th down and 1. First down. Leslie, you're with the man, well, the greatest coach in OU history, I would say.
Coach, you haven't seen an Oklahoma team like this in a long time. Would you say they're officially back after this game?
Well, I never thought you could score 38 points and only rush for 22 yards, but they've done it today. This coaching staff is outstanding. That quarterback is outstanding for Oklahoma. He is a great player.
Gary Danielson and I were talking yesterday. It used to be option, wishbone, pitch. Now it's shotgun, stretch the field, different game.
Exciting. It's exciting. They throw the ball like we pitched it around in a lot of different places. A lot of the guys get to carry it and touch it, and it's a really, really exciting offense. But it's a vogue today. It's what everyone's doing.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right, Leslie, thank you. Indeed, it is the vogue. Everybody doing it, some with more success than others, we might add, and Scobie going nowhere because of Torrance Marshall, number 10, having a big-time day here as a linebacker. He said, Mr. Carl Peterson, pay attention to me. I can play on Sunday.
Watch number 20, Kalmus, get in there, clean it up, and number 10 comes right in there and cleans it. There are two guys. All day they've been wreaking havoc on this offense. What I thought, Brent, an athletic offensive line for Kansas State has not been able to find the two linebackers.
2nd and 10, and Beasley's got to pick up some big chunks here. Good. Short of the first down. At midfield, Quincy Morgan, number 5. That's only his 2nd catch of the game. So they've held Morgan to 2 receptions for 22 yards. Lockett to 2 receptions for 18 yards. So they have kept the big play fellas on this K-State team real quiet.
And one of the reasons, again, Brent, that pass was completed, but it wasn't accurate. He's not allowing his receivers to catch the ball and make plays after the catch when they do catch him.
We may see young L. Roberson before this one is over if the lead stays this way. He's a young redshirt freshman on the KC team. There's that option look, and Beasley twists to the 46-yard line, picking up almost 4 yards. All well and good, but K-State needs some chunks. Chunk plays.
4 yards on the play. Good throw, Wildcats, first down.
Mike Stoops over there calling the defensive signals along with Venables. Knows the personnel very well. Certainly gave the OU, there's Venables, certainly gave the OU coaching staff an advantage because they know the pluses and minuses of K-State's personnel, many of whom they coached and they recruited.
One of the things I can guarantee is Mike Stoops has to shower after the game. It's all over the sideline.
Play fake. Now Beasley goes downfield. He's got Morgan. Morgan out of bounds at the 17-yard line and plays like that.
Very simple. Post corner that time. The corner had help inside. He really didn't have to fight on this post route. Morgan comes in, goes in, never looks. Never looks. That should have been the tip-off that time to Michael Thompson. And Mike Stoops on the sideline goes, come on, you got a free safety in the middle of the field. What are we doing?
A 30-yard game, and Venables said, hey, you know,
when you got 2, you got none, just like quarterbacks.
That's pretty funny. Beasley on a play fake, looking in, so got a man. Deflected incomplete. Had Lockett behind, but Derek Strait, superb reaction time from the OU corner that time.
It's superb reaction time, but he misjudged his leap for this ball. He should have intercepted it. Like a rebounder going for one right off the rim, he jumps too soon and almost allows a big touchdown here. Play action pass, ball's up, Strait jumps up, comes up, just tipped it, and just enough here. Or that would have been,
oh, he got right to it. 11th play coming up. Scobie, play fake, Beasley, And the young corner shows you how he can defend the run that time. So Derek Strait defends a pass in the end zone, then comes up to make a tackle.
One of 3 former high school quarterbacks that are playing, and here he is on the corner cat blitz that time, that are playing in this Oklahoma secondary.
One that got away from Mack Brown. Everyone's always talking about the great recruiting. That young man's out of Austin, Texas.
Right. Strait, Thatcher, and Roy Williams were all high school quarterbacks.
3rd down and 15 for K-State. 5:14 in the 3rd. There's a blitz. Beasley fires behind Morgan. Had him on the slant. He would have scored if he'd have laid that one out in front of the big wide receiver. He would have walked into the end zone.
I think you got to think field goal here. 38-14 would make it a 21-point game. You just got to hope for something at the end of the game. Take your points now. Really no pressure on that play. A little bump at the end of it, but that's what he needed to complete.
So Jamie Ream, Mike Ronzik the holder. It's a 38-yard attempt. Three points closer, but Oklahoma in command. 4:57 left in the 3rd. Unbeaten Oklahoma 38. Unbeaten Kansas State 17. Indeed, the Oklahoma Sooner Nation rolling again, folks. 38-17, unbeaten, ranked number 8 when this game began, and of course if they win again they'll move up as Ohio State is dumped, losing for the first time. And Ream with the ball on the tee. Here comes Thatcher again. He'll be down at the 21-yard line. Well, we showed you a graphic list of quarterbacks who are lined for Heisman. This is just quarterbacks now, not LaDainian Tomlinson. But, Gary, we have added a Heupel to that list, and why not?
Absolutely. Now, I think the key thing right here is a quarterback's going to win. It just happens to be my opinion. But those guys are going to have to run the table. I think Heupel is, Dantzler is, and Crouch and Vick are still up in the way. Vick and Crouch doesn't matter about their stats. If they win, keep winning, they'll be right there. I think Vick, though, you notice it wasn't in alphabetical order. Mr. Musburger put Vick on top.
You should have to drop the hammer on me. First down and 10. Griffin stopped for a loss. So we're at the top of the hour, and it has been lopsided in Manhattan, Kansas today. OU behind only once, 7-3, and a 93-yard kickoff return ignited them again. They quickly regained the lead, and here they are with 4:22 to go. They're up 38-17.
Oklahoma only got conservative one time in this game. They punted and Kansas State scored. They have to be careful not to get too conservative.
Good blocking, and Savage, the receiver. Tomorrow, the Indy Racing League travels to the Texas Motor Speedway for the last race of the season. Championship is on the line. Buddy Lazier, Scott Goodyear, Eddie Cheever, all still in the running for the Northern Light Cup tomorrow at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Jack Arute, our colleague, will be all over that race tomorrow. As a matter of fact, our producer, Bob Goodrich, returns to his home state of Texas. And so Jimmy Ressler filling in very capably, along with Larry Cam, our director, here this afternoon. And again, a Heupel pass is caught. That's Josh Norman out of bounds after the reception.
A lot of talk about quarterbacks setting up and throwing properly, great footwork. But Brent, in modern football, you have to be able to throw off balance too. And this is what Heupel does. Kind of almost throwing backwards. Look at his back foot kind of going, just slings it out. And you're what, 19 of 24? I know he's thrown a couple away. Impressive game. He's making all the right decisions.
However, Chuck Long this spring worked long with him on a better follow-through, because when you do that, you can get it downfield with it. You can throw those short ones off that back foot.
Got to do both.
But you're not going to be Kurt Warner going 60 feet to done. I'll tell you, here's a toss to Griffin in a foot race. 3 Wildcats, and we go nowhere that time.
Brent, I think, though, nowadays, it might be easier to take a guy who can throw all the athletic throws off balance and teach him how to throw on balance than it is to take an unathletic guy and teach him how to throw off balance with this pass.
I disagree. I think it's like a reverse pivot in golf. You can't get off.
Oh, no. With modern, you got to just... Listen, I think one thing that's happened today is you've got to be able to throw with different arm angles with the blitzes. You have to do a lot of things.
One thing, Gary, I think about Heupel, though, he throws the most catchable pass that I have seen this year.
Very soft ball.
Look at him bring the end around now this time. Savage getting to the corner with all that speed, and he's down near midfield that time.
You know, another thing that stands out about these Oklahoma receivers, besides their size, is their youth. Savage, a sophomore. Fagan, a sophomore. Woolfolk, a sophomore. Mackey, a sophomore. Norman, a junior. These guys are all in this program for another 2 years, I think.
That's right. You never know about that. Tack on 13 more, and Heupel's well on his way to a 300-yard day here at 282 right now. 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. And, folks, he's doing it against an unbeaten K-State team. And a pretty good defensive personnel out on the field. You know, and they're blocking guys like 75, Fatafehi, our buddy from Honolulu. He hasn't been a Hawaii 5-0 enforcer today. They split right up the middle on him that time, and Griffin is down at the 45-yard line. You talk about a character.
Right. Fatafehi, he's the best. He's got a great future in whatever he wants to do, and he's got probably a lot of options.
I think he's a #1 draft choice for the XFL. I think he ought to shadow.
Everybody's a #1 draft choice for the XFL for you. What, you got stock in that company or something?
I think he is ideal, and we'll show you why right after this snap.
That's good.
Second down and 4.
9 men in the box.
75 gets double teamed. Gets help from the linebacker down for that. Folks, here's why I say this about number 75, Mario Fatafehi from Honolulu. Take it away, Rock.
The Rock says he's bringing a lynch mob brutality to this field today. And if you smell what the Rock is cooking, woo, that's it.
He was a delight. Yeah. But you don't think they won't show that clip over and over again down at Tulsa and Oklahoma City in those places?
You bet.
Yeah, lynch mob brutality. They've been back on their heels here against the Sooners all day long.
Again, 9 men up there.
Here comes the blitz again. Heupel in the foot race going down, and he gets it off incomplete. Milton Proctor coming in on the tackle, and down he was going on the release.
No points for Oklahoma, but they did accomplish a bit by getting a couple first downs and taking some clock away, making it 123. Chase down. Heupel does not have that type of speed, and as he got up, he limped just a bit as pressure from the backside caught up to him that time.
Lockett is back inside the 10-yard line, and Gary, as you mentioned that, Roger Riley, our stats man, points out they killed 334 on the clock.
And they're going to punt it unless they get a big return where they have to go the entire field.
Jeff Ferguson, just an outstanding punter.
Interesting punt formation, isn't it?
It really is. Look at him get that off at the teeth of that rush. You know, the other thing that we haven't mentioned about Oklahoma, I'm very impressed by not just Ferguson, but also Tim Duncan's leg. He's not giving them any returns on the kickoffs, so they've got that part of the game. This is an unbeaten team that gets to play Nebraska at home down the road, so you really wonder just how far this OU team might go this year.
Absolutely. And the Big 12 has had some experience with unbeaten #1 teams or #2 teams in that conference championship losing, too.
Very good point, because we could get a rematch in Kansas City with outside at night the first Saturday in December against K-State or Nebraska. Good move in the hole that time to the 26. We're talking about freshman quarterbacks. Maybe Phillip Rivers of North Carolina State might be the best. John Saunders, how's he doing today against the Tar Heels?
Well, Brent, on the Burger King play of the day, is having a pretty good day. They're leading in early on, hands to Robinson, back to Peterson. Peterson 19 yards to Phillip Rivers for the touchdown. So throwing them, catch them as well. That's your Burger King play of the day. Brent.
And that game's still very much up in the air, isn't it?
Michael Kane, of course, coordinator for the...
Oh, that's holding. Von Meyer, there's the flag. Linesman's got him. He was holding on to the blitzing corner from the back of the jersey.
It's a good thing he held on, or a new quarterback would have been trotting on the field because Beasley was going to catch it from straight. Well, they picked it up.
Excuse me? Well, let's see why.
The defender fought through the restriction, therefore no hold.
Fought through the restrictions. So in other words, if you're holding on, go down. So if straight is being held, folks, he should have gone down. Anybody got the penalty?
How can that be? How can that be? I'm sure of this one. That should have been a penalty.
I'm not going to jump you on this one. I'm going to let you have this one.
I'm sure. How does he know?
He fought through the hole. Hey, I have that in the NFL. I could save a lot of time. There we go. Third down. The blitz coming again. Beasley almost intercepted on the release by Roy Williams, who's already picked one.
What a great athlete Roy Williams is. Freshman All-American in '99. Played a little corner also. As big as a linebacker, runs in that safety spot. And here's Beasley getting the pressure. 5-man blitz inside. And this time the pressure comes inside from Ramon Richardson. Wow. Good defense. Oklahoma has a very, very active defense.
This is the 6th punt of the day for Brown.
And they only punted 19 times prior to this game all season.
Fumble! K-State may have jumped this one. They got a shot at this loose ball.
This will be a huge play right here.
A little tug of war down below. And OU wins it. Mackey, who was back that time. Now watch Mackey, who was back to return this punt, and not Thatcher. And his own teammate got in his way, and it should have been recovered by K-State. But Mackey, to his credit, jumps back in and gets it.
Well, there's no halo if the guy's from the same era team as you are, and Mackey somehow does get this ball back. That would have been the break that Kansas State needed to get back in the football game.
Somewhat symbolic, isn't it?
Yes, it really has been. And now, if I'm Oklahoma, they can get rid of this quarter right now and move in the fourth quarter, but I go for the kill. Not a hold run ball, but I use my quarterback and try to make
thirsty Gary Danielson wants more. Wants to run it up on Bill Snyder.
Well, 21 points, but I'm going for the one more touchdown, and they'll be laughing on the sideline.
Cliff Holloman. Well, why not? If they run it up, they learned it from the other sideline.
No. We're not going to be invited back here.
Oh, yes, we are. These are nice folks around here. We have a good time when we come here. We enjoy it. Snyder's done it. Now we got the head coach, Mancino, in there in a little discussion. Heupel's over there on the side as the final seconds tick away. An ABC Sports presentation. College football returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Start the final 15 minutes of regulation. 2nd down and 12 for Oklahoma, which leads at 38-17. Josh Heupel from Aberdeen, South Dakota. At the controls, 19 of 25 for 282 yards and 2 touchdowns in a foot race and going down. Didn't fool anybody. Chris Johnson in particular with that outside speed jumped the quarterback, and it's a 10-yard loss. Another sack, and they have been getting to Heupel throughout the afternoon. Take a look at this one.
They've been hitting him. This time it's a kind of a, I wonder if Josh kept this one on his own this time, because right in the teeth of the blitz, he tried to do a keeper almost like he tried to fool him. But he's gotten hit a lot, but he's awful smooth of taking that hit and getting rid of the ball at the same time.
3rd and 23, and that shouldn't faze him.
He'll be conservative here. Throw the ball downfield if he does.
To the 3rd and 26 for a touchdown. This time he takes it off, and he's whacked again at the 38-yard line. Oklahoma to punt, and boy, despite the punishment, 3 sacks, 10 knockdowns, and 9 hurries. This is a tremendous performance under that kind of pressure, folks. This young man who's going to get a big-time shot on Sunday afternoons when he's done at OU. I'm telling you, this is a major league performance here today.
So there's still question marks about arm strength, but he has everything else.
Fumble on the snap, and still he gets it off. Now Lockett. Nice down at the 28-yard line. Good play by Teddy Lehman, number 54. He'll take a break. OU in command.
Well, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
First down and 10. K-State trailing. Beasley, 8 of 22, 107 yards, a costly interception. He has missed his last 4. Quarterback draw. Okay. To the 31-yard line. Well, let's take a look around the Big 12 Conference, and Texas A&M, after being upset a week ago, shuts out Baylor. Kansas, a bit of a surprise because that was in Missouri, but tonight unbeaten Nebraska at Texas Tech. That could be very interesting. And Texas leading Colorado by 7 in the 4th. Iowa State, Oklahoma State also playing later. So started the day with 3 unbeatens in this conference. Be down to 2, and Nebraska will attempt to win again tonight against Texas Tech. We're on second down. Beasley with a quick fire sideline. Morgan breaks free. Foot race. He can flat fly on a cutback. Morgan goes the distance for K-State. 69 yards from Jonathan Beasley.
Still a football game, Brent. I always say that 4th quarter lasts forever. Now it's 14 points. Very, very big gamble that time by Oklahoma. They brought the corner on a corner blitz. Beasley read it and made him pay.
Morgan, 4 catches, 121 yards, and the 69-yard touchdown. Green nails the extra point.
That's why Oklahoma needed to go for the kill and throw the ball.
38-24. Kansas State with a life in Manhattan. 38-24, and for the first time in a long, long time, this partisan Kansas State crowd starts to climb back in the old ball game.
Plenty of time left. Some good defense by Kansas State. They're right back with the ball.
Down at the 22-yard line. You've got to wonder why they're not using J.T. Thatcher.
Here's the corner blitz right here from the outside. Straight blitzes. Thatcher misses the tackle, and a short pass that you can live with if you're Oklahoma, and Mike Stoops turns into a touchdown because Thatcher, number 15, as you'll see, did not come over and make the play.
Gary, there was a personal foul on Oklahoma. Hold on now. Was it against Kansas State?
That's all.
It was against Kansas State.
Personal foul on Kansas State.
Yeah.
15 yards from the spot of the ball.
You don't need to do anything.
From the end of the run.
Nothing extraordinary. Just sound defense will get you back in the game.
First penalty against K-State this half.
One more this. Oh, here it is. Bellman, number 87. Gets the retaliation shot for 15 yards.
Brings it out to the 37-yard line. Improves the field position for Heupel and the Steelers. And that time, Savage at the 44-yard line picks up about 7 yards on the reception.
Amazing as the game goes along. Josh Heupel starts out being in balance, but as he feels that pressure throughout the game, he starts throwing more and more off his back foot. But he's good at it. Kind of backs off. Look at that, falling backwards, just kind of lets it go and completes it. It's a real nice skill to have.
20 of 26 for 289 yards. The difference in the game.
They're forcing Kansas State to bring the pressure.
Here comes, they're on him. Down on the sack by the safety, John McGraw.
Got a ball game here. Oklahoma made a huge mistake last time they had the ball by not going downfield and going for the kill now. One play turns the crowd on, and Kansas State starts to feel good about themselves. Whoa, they're back in this football game. 3rd and long again. I don't know if that dump-off pass is going to work this time.
3rd down and 16. Throws nowhere. Monty Beisel, number 44, brings him to the carpet, and OU forced a punt.
No one to throw the ball to. 3rd and long. The 3rd time this half Oklahoma has had 3rd and long. This time Kansas State and Beisel does the right thing.
And look who's back. David Allen. He's returned a record-tying 7 in his career. He'll get a shot here in crunch time. They come and block it. They swallow a touchdown. Kansas State scores on a block punt. Terrence Newman. It's swallowed off the foot.
And gets the block kick.
That is giving it up, ladies and gentlemen. When you block a punt like that and you lay out, you can imagine what can happen if a punter can catch that just right as you're flying. And then Newman dashes into the end zone. That was a spectacular block punt for Kansas State. And now Ream to make it a 7-point game. He does just that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think the coaches aren't a little tense on both sidelines right now? Hello, ball game. Some don't live up to the hype. Others are better than advertised. And this one got real good in a hurry. 38-31 now. Ball on the tee for Ream.
These games last a long time, don't they? A lot of time left still.
Coming out on the 20-yard line now from behind the end zone. We want to show you young Thulman. Gary, circle him up for everybody.
Right there.
Watch
Here's
him
the
go
man
to work.
right here that's supposed to block him. Kind of chicken wings him to the outside. A good cut inside, arm over, and lays out a beautiful play.
Your point about David Allen back to return is what?
Oftentimes, when a big-name punt returner comes into the game, the punt team really is psyched to stop him, and they go downfield a little too quickly and then leave yourself vulnerable to a block punt.
It is clear from watching the kickoff men that Oklahoma is working into just a touch of a breeze right now going in this direction. And it'll be interesting to see what the OU coaches decide to do with the lead down to 7 right now. They have kept it in the air, and they ain't going to stop now. That's their personality. And he spots Curtis Fagan.
They don't have anything else to go to. They've got one guy that makes this offense go, and you can see the last 3 possessions what happened. And remember, the possession before that, Brett, was 3rd and 26, and they dropped off a 3-yard pass for a touchdown that should have been stopped. Oklahoma has lost their edge on offense, and they have to get it back quickly.
Takes a deep drop. Got his man complete out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Antoine Savage. So Leslie Goodell and Gary Danielson. I'm Brett Musburger. The Kansas State Wildcats turn this around here with a burst. They storm Heupel. Quincy Morgan gets free. And then after that long touchdown, it was the blocked punt for the touchdown. But now Heupel moving Oklahoma again to the 46-yard line. End around. Norman out of bounds at the 44-yard line, very close to another first down. And Heupel has his 300 yards passing. He is 22 of 28 for 315 and 2 touchdown passes in this game.
And he may need about 380 to win this game, though. He's going to need more than 350, I think, to win the game. Really love the way Oklahoma is using Josh Norman. Great speed. He replaced Brandon Daniels in that offense, in that slot position, only he's a little faster. I think he's great coming around on those wide receiver slot reverses. Josh Norman right there.
Bringing the chains across.
To continue to attack the quarterback. They need a sack. They need to turn this 1st and 10 into a 2nd and 15 or 16. That's the only way to stop this offense. Heupel and Breeze are about the same players, only one's right-handed and one's left-handed, aren't they? They just pick you apart.
1st and 10 inside the 45-yard line for Stoops. Savage, the motion receiver. Here they come again. Lott couldn't get there in time, and it was Savage to the 36-yard line. If they don't get to Heupel, he will hit the receiver.
So good at throwing as he backs up. The blitz, the shotgun, it all fits together. Guys are almost coming free. Lott, you see just Heupel, he just backs like a fall-away jump shot. Just hard to block this guy's shot because he just throws back it up.
Savage, 6 receptions, 115 yards. 2nd and 4. 8 seconds. Now down to 7 on the play clock. He's going to bring it on down. Now it recycled before it's zeroed out.
Yeah, he's got a 25-second clock he's looking at on the wall, so I think he feels it'll get recycled. It'll be.
Coach understands managing the time on the field. Been battered and beaten and still thrown for 321 yards. Halfback option pass. Receiver was out of bounds. It's intercepted. K-State intercepts it. A gamble, and it backfires as John McGraw intercepts Ronaldo Works. Halfback option pass. Why would you do that when you got Josh Heupel, 23 of 29?
But look at the job Demetrius Butler did, number 23, a halfback pass, going for the kill. Although great coverage that time by Butler gives time for the safety to come across, McGraw to make the play. Butler did a great job of jamming his receiver out of bounds on the play, and then a guy who's not used to throwing the ball makes a critical mistake.
If you're an OU fan, you're entitled to question that decision. 1st down and 10, and now K-State will try to take advantage. Allen, the main man, into the arms of J.T. Thatcher. Well, at the conclusion of the game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team, and Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. 2nd down and 7 for Beasley and Kansas State. They trail it by 7. Plenty of time. 8.5 minutes. 2nd down and 7. Short drop. Beasley's got his man, and this time Morgan lets it go through his hands.
Morgan felt little footsteps that time. Beasley should throw the ball at the downfield shoulder, Brad. You can see him point to himself. He did not like where he threw the ball. Morgan comes out and he feels the pressure. It should go to his right shoulder. It goes to his left shoulder, and he feels Thompson coming up to make the play. Takes his eye off it and drops it.
You know, when OU did not use J.T. Thatcher to return kicks and punts, you wondered about him, and he looks just a little hobbled out there, number 15 at free safety. And it's all hands on deck as he stays on the field, and Beasley wants to set the screen in the middle. Morgan bounces and down at the 16-yard line, well short of the first down. Roy Williams makes the stop.
That time, Phil Snyder called the play, expecting man-to-man coverage. Stoops crossed him up with the zone, and nothing was there. Wrong call for that defense. He's going to have to punt the ball.
This time, Thatcher does go back deep. Now Travis Brown. JT from the 38 to the 46-yard line. We take a break. 7:37, 38-31, OU. ABC Sports brought to you by Chevrolet. If only everything was as dependable as a Chevy. Chevy, we'll be there. Sears and the Sears National Championship football trophy. And Burger King got the urge. Oklahoma's got the urge to matriculate down the field. Thanks, Fran.
Well, number 14, as you said during break, Brent, I think he's going to be the only one that throws the passes the rest of this game.
Yeah, it's a pretty good favorite right now. That Mr. Heupel, 23 of 29, Gary, 321 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interception. Inside shovel pass, Griffin well defended that time for a loss. Bennett's defense very aware of that
Kansas
play.
State is finally playing with the emotion they didn't have in the first half. Looks like they're running to the ball. And, you know, Heupel has taken a beating in this game, but it's worth it. You throw for 318 yards like he has so far, you know you're going to get hit. He's getting rid of the ball, and he's gotten hit by safeties, linebackers, defensive linemen. But he's like a boxer, Brent. He seems to be able to give with the hit. He's never really getting hit, you know, with that full force of him stepping into that hip. He seems to be turning away from those hips beautifully.
And they lose.
Howard Duncan. Left guard, starting left guard.
Al Basinger probably slip into that rotation. Kaepernick, Skinner, Burcham, Frankie Romero. Second down and 11. Wide open. Juggling. Out of bounds. So Curtis Fagan had a shot at it, but juggled it as he went out of bounds.
How nice is
on
this
that
throw?
far sideline.
Fagan, you see his left hand is wrapped right here. He tries to catch it, thinks about that sideline, gets 1 foot down, but he was juggling the ball at the same time.
And now Howard Duncan returns, and that was Chris Bogus who was on the field for a play for OU. He was in that offensive line. Third down and 11.
I'll tell you, Kansas State has not changed up their defense in about 25 plays. It's man-to-man all over the field.
Here comes the blitz. Heupel gets it off, and the bigger wide receiver able to pull it down that time. Josh Norman yanks it down because of his size. He was able to outmuscle the corner for 22 yards.
They faked the quick screen to the wide receiver. This was going outside to Norman all the way. They faked that little slip screen to the wide receiver to the outside. And then as he lets it go, the big receiver gets in front of the little receiver.
5 catches for 88 yards for Norman today. And Oklahoma is inside the K-State 35. 6:48 to go. Two seconds left. You gotta hurry. They get it snapped. Blocked. Incomplete. Second down and 10. And Pierce, a young man with a fine future here at K-State, makes the defensive play for the Wildcats.
You can't get to the quarterback on short passes. You got to get your hands up. That's the only defense you have. knocking it back down. Haven't seen many of those. The offensive line has done a good job of keeping those guys' hands down, which is one of their jobs.
Second down and 10. Changes up. Still plenty of time on the game clock, down to 7. Middle, got him wide open, is Fagan. First down, out of bounds at the 12-yard line.
This was an audible call. At the line of scrimmage, you saw Fagan try to start to move in before the snap. Heupel read the coverage. Film work paid off. He just comes out a couple steps, cuts underneath, wide open, and the ball is put perfectly. And all these Oklahoman receivers, after they catch the ball, run because they all probably came to Oklahoma as running backs and quarterbacks. All very good.
363 yards for Heupel through the air today. 26 of 34. This is 35th pass and caught in heavy traffic. Savage ripped backwards.
He was thrown down again by McGraw that time, but Heupel does a great job of waiting till the last second and just dipping it out there. Just a little flick, just backing up. That's not too bad. His bottom's going to be sorer than anything after this game. Tell you what, I'd trade those hits for 364 yards and a win at Kansas State, an undefeated team.
Ball on the Wildcats 11 with 5:52 left. Heupel. Norman again. And he's out at the 6-yard line.
This is a great drive by Oklahoma. Heupel in complete control. He seems like he's out there throwing 7-on-7 on Thursday practice right out here today.
Third down 4.
Heartbeat's about 64 right now. It's up from 60.
This is third down. 7-point lead. They do not want to turn it over. Even if they have to settle for a field goal, sitting on a 10 at 5 minutes.
And Kansas State had to burn a timeout.
So we'll take a break. Both K-State and Oklahoma to the sideline to huddle up with the coaches. Timeout. Josh Heupel and Oklahoma are ready to go here, leading by 7, 5:44. This is a 3rd and 4. They can get a first down without scoring. McGraw is right off to the side of him. Back in the shotgun. Looking to throw, fires, caught, and that should be a first down. That should be first and goal.
That's better than a touchdown right there. Right now, because of the 7-point game, they make a first down. Now they can take more time off the clock. Kansas State down 7 points. They're going to still have to stop the clock with their timeouts. Heupel again delivers it. No pressure this time. Big tight end, dips inside, puts it right on the numbers. How many times have we said that today?
So Trent Smith with the ball on the 1-yard line.
If you're Kansas State, you might want to think you're just letting them score. Remember in the Super Bowl, they did that? The only chance to win the game is to get the ball back.
I kind of like that defense myself.
Well, they're going to bleed this clock out.
Is that the famous Mike Holmgren?
Mike Holmgren.
Made a mistake.
Well,
he later said it was a big mistake, didn't he?
I guess. I'd like to have the chance with the ball back.
Oh, I think you've got to dig in here and try to punish him if you can.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I know, but I mean, Kansas State needs the ball.
You're down by 7. 14 is a tough number right now. You got to try to hold these guys to a field goal. Here's second down. Heupel starts off under center with a split back look. That's Griffin 22 to his left. Here he comes, and he's not going to get there. He didn't get there from a split back look, and now third down. Seconds continue to tick away. I still say if they take time off the clock and settle for a field goal,
they're still in the game. Not the worst
of things that can happen for OU either.
Right.
Keep the clock moving right now.
Both teams are not too unhappy, but miss a field goal, block a field goal, still part of the game.
Now, Heupel has worked the middle of the field brilliantly, using crossing receivers, tight ends. He has sent running backs out to flare them.
Remember the option play they used against Texas to score in this situation last week.
Third down. There's the option look. Here's Griffin, and it was beautifully defended. It's a field goal situation as John McGraw eats up the running back. And in the process, OU brings the clock down to 3:30, and Tim Duncan trots on the field to attempt to make it a 10. We've got a timeout.
Kansas State with one remaining now.
Now remember, they blocked a punt.
Well, would that be huge now, the option play? I was thinking about the option. Obviously, Phil Bennett, defensive coordinator for Kansas State, got his defense ready and thinking about option, and that play stuffed for nothing. Good timeout use by Bill Snyder right there, too. The clock, he has to have time to get back in the game.
Well, a reminder while we got a moment here that Monday night, Jacksonville, really crunch time for them. They have got to have it, and they seldom have any luck at all against Tennessee. They've lost to them 4 times in a row, so it's do or die Monday night, 9 Eastern time. Right now, who knows? It could be do or die for the K-State defense. They have blocked a punt today. Tim Duncan drops out. Fletcher, the holder.
Never a block kick. Could turn on a stadium. This would be it.
It'll be a 24-yard field goal attempt from the left hash. Good. There's the 10-point lead on the 24-yard field goal at 3:27.
Right now, if you're Oklahoma, you have to decide that Kansas State will be throwing the ball on every down, and if they're going to score on you, right now you're thinking about that hand onside kick. Everything going through Bobby Stoops' mind.
You know, one thing that we wanted to point out is Jonathan Beasley, with a degree and working on another one. Sometimes we get caught up in the football, but here's what he talked about being a student athlete here at Kansas State.
You know, you're a student first and athlete second when you come to school. I mean, some programs got it the other way around, and that's just the thing they want to do. But I knew coming in that I wanted the education because, I mean, you know, there's probably 5 or 6% chance you got a chance to go in the NFL, but yet no one can take the degree away from you. Having that's more, I think it has more power than being able to play in the NFL.
Yeah, good for the young man. Sometimes we get caught up. His mom here watching. She comes to all the games. Lorraine Beasley does. Very proud of Jonathan and what he has accomplished.
Yes, 2 degrees and playing big-time college football at the same time.
You bet. 3:27 now, and Oklahoma.
Wow, what a leg.
Yeah, that is a great leg.
That's against the wall.
Wow. Coming out on the 20-yard line, 3:23 now. And let me remind everybody about next Saturday. You'll see one of these games in Big 12 land. Network will make a decision on a 7-day basis there. These are set. Michigan State, Michigan, Virginia, Florida State, and USC Stanford. So check your local listings for details and get all the games on pay-per-view by calling your local cable or satellite company. So for Oklahoma fans, I tell you, those folks have suffered the last few years after having the great years, and they just have to be so tickled down there in Sooner Land with the kind of job that Bob Stoops has done in turning this around. And now 3:23, they're on the road. They've got a chance to stay unbeaten, become one of the Fab Five, if you will. We're about to lose our second unbeaten. They blitzed, but there was a whistle. So a penalty flag flies.
Delay a game. Kansas State, 5 yards. Still first down.
Right now, Oklahoma has to be sure tacklers. Kansas State, when they throw, have to pick up first downs. And that makes it tough. 1st and 15 right now, you're likely to throw a completion and the clock will run. Right now, Mike Stoops is telling his defense, let's run to the ball.
Well, one thing about this week, unlike last week, Stoops, and that's Mike, the defensive coordinator. Coach Stoops, Bob, is going to get credit for this one. Last week he said, hey, everybody blame Texas. Come on, we showed up and played. We need some credit. We got 63. He comes up here and puts 41. And he's about to snap the second longest home winning streak in the country. They've won 25 in a row here in Manhattan. There's a fake, and Beasley draws time, goes deep. Morgan, some bumping incidental, and the ball was out in front of him.
You know, he really did have, that's that fire in the belly that you were talking about. When we brought it up last night about the Texas game, he said, my kids aren't getting enough credit for that win. He said, they just didn't lay an egg. We were part of that.
I firmly believe, you know, I've said this all along about anybody in the Big 12 gets loose. If Oklahoma goes unbeaten the rest of the way, remember now that would put them a victor in the Big 12 championship in Kansas City.
Yes.
They will wind up, in my opinion, in the Orange Bowl and play for the national championship.
They deserve it.
Absolutely.
They have to beat Texas, Nebraska, Kansas State, and one of them again.
So Scobie, and short of the first down, Snyder was trying to stop the clock with the first down, and Torrance Marshall makes the tackle after a 13-yard gain.
Prevent defense by Oklahoma. They've got Jones coming out and playing a little bit of center field.
Morgan drops another pass.
Story of the game right there.
Exactly.
The big play receivers for Kansas State, Morgan and Lockett, did really not distinguish themselves today when they needed it. Nobody thought Jonathan Beasley was going to carry this team. He needed his big play receivers, Morgan and Lockett, to help him out. They've made the routine catches, and they've missed the routine passes. I would say by my count, that's 5 or 6 drop balls. 6.
Quarterback draw trying to get the first down, and he didn't get it on 4th down. It's Oklahoma football. 2:46 left, up by 10, and the Sooner Nation can start ordering up a frosty mug. They're about to put this one in the W column, celebrating over there on the sidelines. Nobody happier than Mike Stoops, an emotional coach.
And you talked about that schedule, Brent. They've got a great opportunity. Oklahoma next week. Idle, and then they, after a tough, easy Idle team, they got a little tougher team.
When the Cornhuskers roll in on the 28th, and there now is the fabulous 5.
Right.
We lose to Ohio State and Kansas State.
And only one of those Fab 5 have played yet. That's Oklahoma. The rest of the time, TCU obviously isn't going to lose.
Virginia Tech played Thursday.
Oh, yeah, they won already.
Win column.
Yep.
Now, how about our Chevy players of the game? No doubt about Josh Heupel today. 29 at 37, 374 yards, 2 touchdowns and no picks. And John McGraw, the free safety from K-State. Chevrolet makes a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship.
And I think Heupel laid claim to putting his name in the Heisman
no
race.
question.
I mean, he's in it now. You just win games now, and you're in it. He's putting up fabulous numbers.
Gary, Woody Dantzler and Josh Heupel
right.
have come from nowhere.
From nowhere. Woody Dantzler at the beginning of the year was talked about by Clemson as being moved last spring.
This is back-to-back fabulous performances. Let's think about this for a minute. 60, that's over 100 points against Texas and Kansas State. This is the most points allowed at home for Kansas State since Nebraska beat them up 45-8, and that was back in 1990. So think about how long it's been since Bill Snyder has given up 41 points. I mean, this is a bitter defeat for him. With all the coaches on the other side who came from his staff, learned a lot of things, and he'll be back to the drawing board.
We got talking about emotion in this game, and Bill Snyder said the coaches, this was just another game, but I think for the players, they might have been a little bit too emotional for this game. They wanted to win it so bad. The Oklahoma coaches left Kansas State's program to go to that guy's place right there.
Can you hang it in? 157 and not leaving early. Now, There's a guy who likes his football. Nice man. I got to tell you, for all the trips that I ever made down there to Norman, saw some damn neat games down there. I always enjoyed dropping by and talking to Switzer. Well, I'll tell you what. When he went down to Miami to play Jimmy Johnson once, I don't know whether 1 or 2, I can't, but it was one of the fiercest football games I've ever seen. That's when the games had a rolling, and Switzer had a ton of talent. Norman, oh, what a football game. Bosworth had about 22 tackles out there.
For all the press that this Oklahoma team is getting about their offense, their defense is for real also.
Yeah.
They got good linebackers in that front four, held their own all day. Never had to blitz, never had to gamble throughout the whole game.
Third down, of course, the first BCS ratings will come out on Monday. Ben Lieber in on Quentin Griffin that time, and we'll see just how high this OU team can climb. Of course, as Gary pointed out, some of those teams with night games still coming up, and Stoops saying, keep it on running now.
Really,
140.
Brent, very interesting, the rushing yards in this game. Everybody said that Oklahoma needed to run the ball to be effective. 16 yards rushing.
So the attack went on, eh? A 49-yard attempt by Duncan to make it a 13. And there's the fake. Patrick Fletcher. And
boy, that's a very surprising play.
You know, Gary, I got to tell you something. I really think Stoops did not want any more points on the board. I honestly believe
I don't think he wanted to get a field goal blocked, Brent. I don't think this was a call all the way. He didn't want to get it blocked. And I just think what's wrong with he got a punt blocked already, but it's still a 10-point game.
With a leg like that, that kid could have made that field
I know that, and
I honestly believe that.
I don't think he wanted to get a field goal blocked.
We'll argue this one far into the Kansas City night.
Hopefully.
There's Beasley sprinting. And he has it complete inside the 40-yard line. Wesley. 22 yards. So the final minute now. OU with a pair of timeouts. Beasley takes off. He'll go out of bounds to stop the clock. Picks up 4, and the clock is down to 1:02. And Gary here is shaking his head. He can just see a touchdown, onside kick, field goal.
Why not? Right? And I'm sure Bobby Stoops can too. He's going, oh my gosh.
I have seen nothing in this offense, young man, that would lead me to believe that they can strike like lightning against this defense twice. I will tell you that right now.
Except for that one lightning strike.
I mean, they haven't cut the ball. They caught like a 5-yard pass and turned it into a big-time touchdown.
Well,
they haven't cut the ball downfield.
It's not likely to happen, I would agree. But
that's why they're going to deal, folks. They're going to play it out right now. 2nd down and 6. They'll send trips off to the left in this formation. Draw man from OU. And Beasley going to go deep to the end zone. There's the strike. Developed and incomplete. Great play by Derek Strait.
Unbelievable.
That was a
Number 2, Derek Strait makes a great play.
Tremendous play. Strait was beat. The ball was thrown well. And he sticks up his right hand while he's lunging out, laying it up, and that was a tremendous play. Everidge comes across the safety, but it was Strait that made the play.
Did you see the miracle right before your eyes?
Yes, I did. I was ready, too.
You were going to come on me with both feet. You were so cool. 55 seconds now. 3rd down and 6. Drop it to the middle, and there it is. Now it's 4th down.
Yeah, I think now if you're Kansas State, I kick a field goal. Give it a try. They got a good, strong leg.
I'm mulling that one over.
All right.
You know that.
See, I got the problem here. I always have to say things first.
You're like I get the response.
Exactly.
Oh.
You're mulling, ladies and gentlemen, mulling.
Mulling time over, is
You're
it?
going to wait until it's over is what you're going to do.
No, because I find myself not in total disagreement with what you're saying. You know, 4th down and 6. They need 10 anyway to get a tie and get it to overtime. It doesn't matter how you do it in the rotation. So here's Beasley. He'll drop that middle screen off to Lockett, who's caught it, and Lockett down, and it's very close. It'll depend on the spot, folks, as to whether or not.
I think he got it.
Let's probably bring the chains across here.
Beasley needs to call a play. There's no use waiting around. There's nothing to wait for. If you don't make it, it doesn't make any difference.
Now, the ref is bringing the chains out right now. 43 ticks of the clock left. I forgot to ask you, who do you like Monday night? Titans to
Yeah, first down.
Here we are. What we need now is young Matt Danielson to throw one to the middle like he did. Hey, that was a nice pass. Congratulations, Pops. You gotta be.
Like I said, if he goes 20 for 20, he'll get me up to 50% as a family. That's a big thing.
All right, first down now. 44 ticks to the clock.
Don't have time to pick around. You got to throw the ball in the end zone and hope for one of those miracle plays. First downs don't help you now.
Looking to set the screen again. This time it's Allen. Allen inside the 50. That stops the clock. Yep. That is a first down. And that stops the clock. A 14-yard gain. And Snyder still firing away with his Wildcats here. 33 seconds. All he wants is a chance at that onside kick. Beasley rolling hard. Fires
incomplete. Clock stops. This is amazing. There's one person that's left. I mean, there's a 1% of the people that haven't left this stadium right now. 10-point game. They don't believe it. They go, we always win. Here.
Absolutely. .26 seconds left. Second down and 10. K-State trails it by 10 points.
Throw the ball in the end zone.
He is low, incomplete. And
nice
Morgan
call.
goes diving. He caught 5 balls today for 123 yards.
That was a nice call. Roll one way, go against the grain, and throw the post corner the opposite way. It's a difficult throw for the quarterback. You got to put a lot on it. The long throw. This ball was up in the area. Could have been caught. Just a little bit low. Nice call, though, by Bill Snyder.
Three wide receivers off to Beasley's left. And he throws back to the tight end and going nowhere because number 2, who has played some football game today, the corner Derek Strait. And Stoops moving on back here with the final seconds ticking away. And Oklahoma to stay unbeaten. They come into Kansas State. And on the final play, they intercept it. Ball game is over. And Bob Stoops quickly across the field to see Coach Bill Snyder. And brother Mike coming across, shaking hands with some of the players. These fellas know each other real well. Josh Heupel, player of the game in anybody's book, 29 of 37 for 374, 2 touchdowns, and no interception. Down we go to Leslie Goodell.
Did you ever think you'd score 41 points against the Kansas State team today, Coach?
Well, we've scored a lot of points in a lot of games, so I never go in thinking we can't. They're a good team, great defense and offense, so it's a good, solid game.
You talked about it yesterday with us that you maybe didn't get the credit you felt you deserved after last week's big win over Texas. You think you go with some nice today?
Well, hopefully. You know, we played pretty decent, and I'm proud of my players. The kids are outstanding. The assistant coaches are outstanding, and they deserve a little credit.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Congratulations.
All right, Leslie, nice job. 104 points in 2 weeks, I'd say. Josh Heupel now has thrown 118 passes without an interception. Our final score, OU 41, Kansas State 31. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Keyword ABC College Football. So long, everybody.
What an extraordinary performance.
They've won the Stanley Cup. The Indianapolis 500.
Best final round ever.
Touchdown! Touchdown!
Incredible! This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, continuing the tradition of excellence.